The following program contains scenes and language of a frank and explicit nature. Viewer discretion is advised.
In 5, 4, 3, 2, live now.
I don't know, Mike. I don't know what you're talking about. Hey, everybody. He's a macho. Savage, you're listening to Mike Trash, TrashTalkingRadio.com. The best in the business. So say it, the macho.
Wrestling fans throughout Radio Land, listen to Trash Talking Radio at TrashTalkingRadio.com. Every Tuesday from 7 to 10 o'clock, you hear guys like myself, the Ugandan Giant Kamala. And that's my story.
You say mere words to describe the Trash Talking Radio Show from 7 to whenever we get done is like using a screwdriver to cut roast. People never shine the rock and wrestling connection. That's the trashy one and the loony one together forever.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Ivan Koloff. I'm here to tell you about Mike Talking Trash. With the Trash 7 to 10. Tuesday nights, you got to listen in. It's the best around, the best in town. Alright, hey, this is the Animal. One half of the world famous taking the road warriors leading the bill. If you know what's good for you, you'll listen to Trash Talking Radio or else.
Everybody, you're watching Trash Talking Radio. This is Hulk Hogan. Hulk, what do you got to say about Trash Talking Radio?
Well, I gotta say that I just bought Trash Talking Radio. You're out of the picture, dude. This is my show, and you better watch, because what you gonna do when Hulk Hogan's brand new Trash Talking Radio runs wild on you?
It is times like these that the world needs heroes and entertainment, and with that I give you the greatest live talk show known to mankind. With inflation being at its highest points, we need someone to show us the ways of good taking on evil, and someone who has the heart of Snow White and the strength of Thor. He, along with his sidekicks Trash's mate, also known as Trish, Trash's babe, known as Ashley, they will fight crime and make the world right once again. Please welcome me in a round of applause for the vital idol Class C Mike Trash. You may all be seated. Thank you.
Trash Talking Radio Tuesday night. It's the best night of the week, and everything is there. Okay, good. All right, we're there. We're here, except I'm not there yet. I'm almost there. I'll be there in just a few seconds. So I've got to figure out where I was in my group here. Let's see. How do I finish this?
Well, while you're playing around with your buttons over there, I want to say happy birthday to Jessie Joe, who's having a birthday on Friday.
I want to say happy birthday to her, too. Do you want to say happy birthday?
I just gave my woohoo.
Well, that's not a happy birthday, is it?
Well, happy birthday, Jessie Joe. This is Christine, who you've never met.
Yeah, neither have I. Anyway.
I'm just the dog sitter.
Yeah, that's what I'm told.
And that's what that's my story. And
I do got
sticking to it.
The semi-domesticated dog sitter.
Oh my God, Jess! God forbid I actually make a meal and eat it.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Now. All right. Here we got it all, I think. Oh, let's see. I got to do one last thing, and then I can proceed with the show.
Well, I got an email yesterday when I got to work that we have a homeless person living out in the
Parking lot?
gazebo.
How
Yep.
could that be?
I don't
He
know.
must have a home if he's got a gazebo.
Well, it's this gazebo that belongs to work, and we got the email from the big boss saying, he's harmless, and he's not sure how long he's going to be there, but he didn't have the heart to call the police and have him removed.
Well, good.
It
Should be
was
that
the
way.
guy. My boss is really nice. He says, "I just wanted you guys to be aware."
It wasn't him, was it?
No,
Okay.
he said
This is a
he
homeless
was
guy
real
in Baltimore.
thin.
Well, how would he
and
get all the way up
sandy
here?
hair and,
He would have to steal a ride. Okay. let me see.
so he just let us know, which I'm glad. I haven't seen him, but
Got it. Okay.
he's there from like 8 o'clock at night till about 6 o'clock.
Oh,
in
so
the
he has
morning.
hours.
He does have hours, yeah.
Okay.
He has endless hours.
It's different from it's from office hours. He has homeless
Homeless
hours.
hours.
He has gazebo hours.
Gazebo.
Oh my gosh.
That's right.
That's wrong. That's so wrong.
Anyway, welcome to the show, everybody. Back again for another week of hardiness. Next week we're not going to be, I guess, on because that's the 4th of July and everybody's going to be
Yeah.
out partying.
I get a long 4-day
Long
weekend,
weekend.
3-day work week. Woohoo!
Happy birthday, Jesse Joe. Anyway, okay, so this week I'm going to have a lot of fun stuff. Instead of videos, I'm going to show you no videos of my auditions because I haven't done any auditions this week. Oh, she's leaving because I said that. I'm sorry.
No,
I'll
it's
make
just
one up.
those
I'll play
things are
one.
horrible to wear.
I'll bring you. I'll
No,
put
I
a
was
video on
hearing
for you.
it, and I forgot to turn my speaker off on here.
Yeah, that would be good because then we don't have to hear us twice, and we won't get feedback. And the feedback that we'll get will be none.
And then I was hearing it in the headphones, and it was driving me nuts. Yes, it's a short drive, so
I didn't
don't
say
even go
that.
there.
Never did say that. There is cracking. I've got to figure out where the noise is coming from. Somebody's
There's a crack in
Somebody's
the
overdriving
basement.
us. I think it might be me. I'll drive me down a little bit so that there we go. Okay, talk a little bit, Trish.
Okay, yeah. I just,
Okay, you're not cracking. Go ahead, talk.
Hello, hello.
Okay, it must have been just me. All right, so we're
You
okay
are
now.
cracked.
We
You're a
got rid of that
crackle.
noise because I don't.
Snap
have-
and Pop will get jealous.
I don't know what's going on with my situation, but for some reason I do not have my normal mixer to figure out what's going on. So as long as everything's mixing and everybody can hear everything,
And nobody hears any feedback that sounds like Satan, we're good.
or yeah, okay, we'll let that
You
go.
mean Satan's around here?
I'm the spawn of Satan, remember?
Oh, I thought that was somebody else.
What is that?
What is
Water?
this?
No, over there's
Where?
something standing. Oh, it's a bone. Okay, I was trying to figure out what that looked like.
Oh,
It looked like a cup of some sort. I was
Do you really? I mean,
well,
do you
from
need-
here I can't see it because it's dark
It
over
doesn't
there.
even look like a cup. I was kind of worried about the thing that looks like a Jurassic Park.
your brother, Ann.
What?
She goes, who's on crack?
I am not on crack. That's not true.
But it's
No, you're sitting on one.
Methamphetamines, maybe. Crack, no.
Oh, yeah, but you're sitting on one.
No, I sealed that.
With Diet Pepsi.
Okay. All right, all right, it's time to start the show, I guess.
We
Before
already were
everybody,
started, but we have to keep waiting for you.
Okay. All right, let me see. Everything looks to be working. That's nice. I like it.
Baby girl.
The picture of the day is. I did this quickly. I didn't, so I apologize for not a good picture. But that's a picture of the day.
Are you hitting yourself over the head?
No, it's a guitar.
He's playing his
I'm playing-
guitar on the back of his
See,
Oh,
that's-
the air guitar.
No,
No, a
that's
real
a real
guitar.
guitar.
Oh, I know that.
That's the dragon,
Yeah, that's the nice one.
the really expensive dragon that probably is worth up there as far as all my guitars. That's probably worth a little money, and that's one I bought, and then I sold it to Ken, and then he died and gave it back to me. So I got stuck with the dragon. It's kind of a neat guitar. It was one of the early MIDI guitars, and it has a really, an antique MIDI cable. So it's like really strange because it's one of the first ones, so the cable changed over the years. I would probably think about putting an updated one in it, but I don't know. I don't play it enough to make it work. I think I took it out of the box once since Ken died.
And that was probably to get your picture taken with it.
No, we did these. These were we did a shoot at his house, and we did these and a bunch of. I had a bunch like. Let me show you. I got a couple. We did a shot. Actually, the reason I'm doing this is this came up for this week, and it's just different shots that we did for promo. So you got that shot, and we got that shot. This shot I loved. I was going to leave this one. This was what I was going to do because I thought it was cool because we just kind of did a what was a John Travolta thing. That was me when I was about probably 100 pounds. No, probably about 80 pounds heavier. So
yeah, next Tuesday would have been Ken's birthday.
Yeah.
Ooh.
No, Monday.
I thought it was Tuesday.
Nope, he was born on the 3rd.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Because I said he couldn't have waited today and be a little firecracker.
Yeah, I miss him so much. It just, it's really sad. In fact, I'm thinking of, in his lack of honor, not really honor, because it's not really honoring him, I'm going to play, I jammed with a band, a bunch of guys, not really a band, with some guys last week, and I recorded the whole thing, and I thought I'd play a couple songs from it. So I'll even give you the choice of the songs if you want. And if you guys like what you hear, I'll play a couple more songs, but otherwise I won't force you to, what's that alrighty then mean? What was that about? Alrighty then.
Well, then where's the one that, oh, look, I got a picture of a spider.
Well, I'm happy for you.
Yes. It was before I ripped his legs off. I went to, you'll be sorry that you ever invited me down here.
An animal hater.
I'm petting the dog. I'm keeping her calm. Look.
Like she needs to be calmed.
Yes, she does. Look.
Guess
She
I need
loves
to
your ear rub
reposition
like
the camera too a little bit. Oh, that's the wrong one. It's the wrong camera. I
Anyway,
need the other one.
I want the one that Bob Seger.
That the beginning of that song is awful.
It's just because the people don't know how to play instruments, but
well, I mean,
your voice is awesome.
I felt better after this was over because I actually got to hear my voice without scrutinizing the scrutinizer. It was really actually pretty good. I don't know if Ann had a chance to listen to it ahead of time. I don't know if she did or not. And you got a chance to listen to it ahead of time.
That's why I requested.
And you like that one out of all the ones?
Well, I like
well,
that song.
I mean, I like that song too, but the beginning is really bad. And there was nobody to play leads because the lead guitarist wasn't there that night. So the rhythm guitarist tried to play lead.
Ian says, what did the spider do to you?
Yeah, that's... See, you're pulling its legs for no reason.
I didn't tell you what I did to the Thousand Lager, did I?
Yes, you did.
Okay, I sprayed it with the bug death.
And then she fried it and ate it.
No, it fell off the ceiling and thudded.
Oh, sure
So
it did.
this is how big it was.
Uh-huh.
And then I turned around and I sprayed it with that hairspray that freezes. And then all its little legs fell off.
Oh.
So cool.
Oh, she left or she's leaving?
Who's leaving?
She probably is just going to step away to answer the phone call.
Or just, go report me to animal control.
Tell them to call back when you're done, when we're done. This is the Jesse Joe birthday show.
You should put little balloons up.
Well, why? They're already put them in the chat room.
Oh, they're in the
so
chat
I don't
room?
need to do it. Well, at least they're putting hearts and stuff.
You know that's Jessie Jill, because she loves us.
I don't know if she loves us. I don't know if
Yeah, she does, trust me.
Okay, I don't know. What do I know? I'm just the host with the most.
Oh, that's right. You don't have that up anymore. Yes, you do.
It's behind there.
Yeah.
But if I tried to repeat it, I couldn't do it from memory
It
right
was
now.
whoosh.
Yeah, so it was the longest intro a wrestler ever had, and I made sure that I had the longest intro the wrestler.
Yeah.
But I couldn't remember it enough to
The host
do
was
it.
the most. Mr. Saturday Night.
Mr.
Oh, the thing
Tuesday
that he
night.
does,
Tuesday night.
Yeah, but it was longer. I cut
Yeah.
it down to be in that little promo. So anyway, let's get the show started. What do you think? Oh,
Sounds
she loves
Please.
Trish. There you go. You don't need
Michelle.
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
No, I need Michelle too.
So where did she go? Did she move?
Michelle is moving to Mannheim. Yeah.
Why did she do that? That sounds bad.
Because she can't afford the apartment that she was in with her husband. Now that he's gone.
Where's he gone?
He croaked in December.
Oh.
Yeah, I told you that.
I forget.
Yeah.
Really?
Uh-huh. And she was paying...
What did he die of? He was young.
Yep.
Ooh, another one bites
I
the
think
dust.
it was COVID related, if you ask me.
Wow.
But, yeah, they were paying $1,800 a month plus sewage, water, and trash for a 2-bedroom apartment.
That's high.
Yes.
Why were they paying so much?
Because that's where they wanted to live. When he had his income and hers, they could afford it. Well, now that he's gone...
Do you realize that I bought this house for $2,000 a month?
Uh-huh. You told me that a time or two.
They're paying rent, though. They're not even buying.
Well, she found a place in Mannheim that her and her daughter can afford.
Well, Mannheim's an okay place.
It's closer to me.
Well, there's bad things about that, too. I mean.
But, yeah, she's moving over little by little. I went down last Thursday and got some of the furniture that she was getting rid of. And
what else you got to sell?
I'm not sure. I'll have to talk to her. But then they were moving stuff over the weekend, and I do know she had a TV stand because she tried to give that to me, and I have no room for it. But the rest of the big furniture, we're going to move in a couple
I'm sure
weeks.
this was directed to you.
What?
Can't wait till the little families take revenge. I just want the little families to know that only one of us did that. So.
Okay, and I just want you to know that if they hear the click, that's not a firearm. That is a flamethrower.
That's assuming you catch them sneaking up on you. So.
Oh well, Cheyenne will let me know.
So I had okay. So where should I start? I've had a lot of. I have no RFPs to worry about this week. So we're going to jump right into the entertainment stuff. But now we got choices. I've got choices for us.
But wait a minute. Isn't the whole show supposed to be entertainment? I'm confused.
I think it's supposed to, but he has his own definition.
Yeah.
Actually, he
That's
has
funny.
his own
Your
definition
microphone.
in a
It's
lot
funny.
of
Your
things.
microphones are turning off. That nobody can hear you. So, it's funny how that works.
Do
It's
you want
just,
us to yank your chain? Can you give me a dog?
That's for after the show, Christine.
Okay.
No!
What? I'm just adjusting my.
Give me the dog bone.
Is that what they call it now?
I have, I am still a married woman.
I know.
Since when has that stopped you?
She hasn't done anything.
Oh.
Give her that. See if she'll take that. Yep, she'll take that.
Yeah, that's my girl.
So, all right. So we have a couple choices. Here's what our choices are. I have no auditions to show you, so you're safe with that.
Thank God, no.
Before I get into this, I'll talk about something else I got to do. I got to do something really neat. Now, about 10 years ago or so, I don't remember the exact time frame, I auditioned for this local guy to be in his movie. And I must have really sucked really bad because I didn't get any parts in this guy's movie. And I saw his movie, and it sucked. So
it was probably saving you from the damning reviews.
But anyway, so they had a thing going on here called VidJam, and it's a Harrisburg-based thing. And I thought, I forgot that I signed up for it. I signed up for it last week sometime, and then I'm sitting on boot camp for VIP, and all of a sudden this pops up and it says VidJam, and I thought, I signed up for that. I wonder where it is, and it said on my calendar it was that day. I thought, oh shoot. And then I looked at the time, and it was 5:30 to 9 is the time that they blocked off. And so 5:30 to 9 on a Sunday. So I had no excuses for not going because it was Sunday. And so I thought, well, okay, I guess I'll go to this thing. And it was at the Midtown Cinema, which is it's a theater inside the middle of Harrisburg. So you kind of, if you didn't know where it was, you might be a little scared, but it was actually, it's not a bad place. It's just, I didn't, like the problem with Midtown Theater is it's a small theater and they only have 3 different theaters in that one cinema. And last time I was there, the seat was horrible. and it was really low to the ground. It was really uncomfortable, and I usually didn't have enough knee room and all that stuff. So I debated whether or not I wanted to go, and then I thought, okay, oh, first I got to tell you what VidJam is, I guess. So VidJam was a weekend that they put together for video people that make videos, and they have 48 hours to write the script, cast the script,
Wow.
shoot the movie, and edit the movie.
Wow.
And I thought, okay, this will be my chance to network in Harrisburg. Instead of networking in New York, Florida, LA, and all that, I could network in Pennsylvania. And I didn't have to go to Philadelphia to do it. So
And you didn't
I thought,
have to drive 300,000.
yeah, and I didn't have to drive real far. So I thought, let's see what it's all about. So I went in. You had to pay, I think the tickets were $12. And I got a drink, and I sat back, and I thought I was going to see what's going on. So all these people, it wasn't packed, but all these people came in, and probably most of them were involved in projects. So they had 6 movies that were made that weekend, written that weekend, edited that weekend, and shown this weekend. So I thought, okay, let's see what everybody has to do. Now, it's funny because the one person that I met 10 years ago or so, 10, 12, 14 years ago, whatever it was, I don't remember what year it was, he was there. And he was the one that invited me to this. And I said, okay, well, let's see what it's all about. And I didn't recognize what he looked like anymore because it's been a long time, and I only met him once. And I wasn't good enough to get into his production. So I thought, okay, let's see what it's all about. So I figured out who he was by elimination. And I figured he's the only guy that looked like I kind of remembered him to look like. So I was right on that choice, by the way. So I watched all the movies, and they were really good. All of the movies, they had 6 movies that were really good that they made that weekend. They made teams, and they all did these movies. And they helped each other, and they weren't super competitive about that. They were willing to help each other. So I watched the movies, and then they had a Q&A session. So I listened to a few people, and then I asked my question. And my question was, what are all of you guys going to do with your films now that they're done? Are you going to be entering film festivals? Because that's the most logical thing they would be. And the guy who I thought was Hal, he said, well, I mean, film festivals cost a lot of money, and so none of us are going to do that. And I said, well, I know how much they cost because I entered 2 things into film festivals, and I won 43 awards last year, gaining me instant credibility with everybody. So then they asked the rest of the questions, and I think I had 2 questions, but maybe I didn't. Maybe I only had 1. I don't know. But anyway, when it was over, I started talking to Hal, and I said, do you remember me? He said, yeah, I remember you. And I told him what are the things that I've been doing, who are the people I'm training with, and he was like really excited about that. And he invited me to the after party.
Ooh.
So.
For someone who doesn't like to party.
Well, yes. The thing is, I was there explicitly. Explicitly sounds kind of fun. Okay. I was there explicitly to meet people. That was the only reason I went there, was to meet people that are local doing movies, because instead of moving to Delaware so I can do a movie, or going to New York or Philadelphia or wherever I'm going, I can stay in Harrisburg and do it. So I got to meet, I think 3 of the directors of the 6. Might have been 4 of the directors. Wait, 1, 2. I got to meet 4 of the directors, and I introduced myself, gave them cards and all that, and told them that I'd be interested in working with them.
Good.
And told them, they obviously knew who I was when I was one of the people asking questions, not because I am Mike Trash, but because I explained to them, and I told some of them, like, what are things I've been training with and who I've been training with and what and all that stuff. Anyway, that night, the one girl who did this animation, by the way, it was a great animation she did on the show, or on their setup. She asked me, can I do a Southern accent? And I said, well, not right now, but the accents are something I am going to work on because I don't do any accents. And she wants me for a part that she's going to do for a feature film, not a 3-minute film, not a 6-minute film, but a feature film. And because I told her I was in pro wrestling for 12 years and all that, she goes, you could be perfect for that because, I told her I also had training in fighting and firearms down in Atlanta. So she wants me to be in this film, and I'm going to be like a prison, a guy that runs the prison.
Oh, a warden.
A warden.
There you go.
And I get to beat up on some of the inmates. It's kind of fun. But anyway, that was kind of neat that she was interested in me for that because she wanted an older white guy, and I said, hey, that's me. And,
Are
we
you
talked.
sure?
Well, I can play an older white guy.
Okay.
I can also play a younger white guy.
Okay.
And I can also play a teenager.
Well, white men can't jump.
I don't need to jump for this. I just need to punch people.
Okay.
And I'm good at that.
Well, okay.
You have a very bad punchline.
All I got to do is use a clipboard, and I'll be happy. So we'll be good.
That's something that you definitely have that's unique.
Clipboards?
They had to beat people over the head.
Combustible ones.
Yeah.
I offered him some of mine, and he said mine wouldn't actually break very well.
They'd be hurting people. I don't want to
It's
hurt
just these
people.
cardboard-looking ones.
Yeah,
They're heavy. They are
They're
heavy.
but they are laminated.
I like the Rite Aid type. Anyway, so that was good, and then I talked to a couple of the other guys, and I think I'm gonna. And it reminded me that I met a director.
Can you hear her?
Yeah, I met a director a couple years before. Might be after or before that, but he was a real director, not just these little movies. He was a real director. No, I don't mean that derogatory, by the way. These guys did a great job on their films. But I met a director who has distributed big films, not as big as like Marvel or anything, but bigger films. And he lives in York. And I forgot all about him, but somebody mentioned him there.
Nice.
And I said, oh, Doug. I forgot all about Doug. Anyway, so I looked up Doug on Facebook because I was a Facebook friend of his, but I had never talked to him after the initial meeting. So I decided to send him my credentials saying, hey, I met you back a long time ago. Since then, this is what I've done. I would be interested in working with you. So I'm waiting to hear something back.
Very
on that.
nice.
But it's kind of cool because I never realized there was a community here in this area that is as big as it really is. There's a whole bunch of directors apparently in this area. I could do a lot of movies in this area and not have to go very far. And so if that's the case, that's what I want to do. So now that's leading on to the next thing. So I thought about it. How about I take their films and show them on our show?
That would be cool.
Because most of them are short films. And bring the director on either through, Facebook or whatever. Osmosis, smoke signals, whatever it takes. And I think we could have a show that would work for filling in the entertainment slot with people that are in the business.
That are actually in entertainment.
So I'd like to do that. And actually the film that won, they had awards for this. One film won every award.
Wow.
Now, when I tell you the name of the film, you're going to say, okay, I understand. But the film is actually really good. The film is called Sex Movie.
Yep.
See, just by the title, you've guaranteed a win. And it could be a terrible movie, but this
so you
one...
just guarantee that people are actually just going to go in and want to know what it looks like.
Well, this movie was actually very funny. So it starts out with this man and wife in bed, and he's like on top, and he's like kissing her and everything. And she said, stop. I want to make a sex movie. And he's like, what? What do you mean? She goes, yeah, let's make a sex movie. And he's like looking around. He's trying to, what? Okay. And usually guys are the ones that want to make the sex movie, and the girls say no. But he goes, all right, we'll make your sex movie. She goes, great. And she gets out of bed, and he's like, where are you going? She goes, I'll be right back. And she goes out and closes the door, And you see, he's getting all excited. He takes off his pants and he's got his underwear on, and he's getting ready. And then just then the door opens and she walks in, and she's got a whole crew. She's got a photographer, a makeup girl, and all these people. And he's like, what are you all here for? And they're all setting up lighting and setting up, having the microphone over his head and trying to figure out what's the right angle and stuff. And he's like looking around trying to figure out what's going on while this girl's patting him down with makeup and stuff. And he's like trying to get it all together. And and he's like, what's going on? And then her phone rings. And he said, hold on, I got to. And she's like, yeah. Oh, all right. All right, bye. And then she goes, they cut funding for our movie. So they all left except for him and her. That was the movie. It was really funny. But, that was one of the good movies. And then they were all good. I mean, don't get me wrong. They were all comedies except for one. And one was by the girl that did the animation. She demonstrated it at the place that we went to afterwards, how she did the animation. It was like really cool. You got to be somewhat artistic to do that, but it was really kind of cool. So hopefully I'll have a whole new group of friends that I can make movies with that I don't have to travel long distances. Okay. And I'm excited about it. And if I'd only thought about this a year ago, I still have that, the Winder. By the way, I'm thinking I might do this. I might play you Winder in the next couple weeks. But if I do, you got to keep it quiet because it hasn't been released yet. So it's a short movie.
Don't get yourself in trouble.
I got to play it, though.
Why?
There's people that want to see it.
He's a rebel. Haven't you figured that out yet?
I understand that, but do you know that
people want to see that movie? It's a
you need to keep your integrity in the business.
That was funny.
She doesn't know you very well, does she?
You should do stand-up.
No, I'm just sitting down.
Anyway, so, I think that's what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to get some of those people together and
cool.
do videos do some videos.
Hi, sweet girl.
Hi, puppy. What you want?
She wants another thing because that only takes like 2 minutes for her to eat that. Yeah,
good girl.
Keeps putting her leg up on me and wanting something to eat.
I have to get you one that's bigger.
Ooh, you want this one?
I like how she looks at it for a while, for a couple seconds, then she grabs it. She looks at it like, is that the best I'm going to do? Okay.
Yeah, okay. Is that all I got? Is that all you got?
Is that the best you got? Yeah.
Anyway, at least she looks at it. Bear just says it's mine.
Does anybody want to hear some music?
Yes.
We've been waiting
You
to hear
even said
music.
you said it before before I finished it.
We've been waiting for
I'm
you
waiting
to
for
do this.
somebody in the chat room to tell me they want to hear
They're
it.
not drunk enough yet. Come on. It's so early.
The last thing Ann said was she's laughing with tears out of her eyes. So that's not about the music.
That's your sister, and she loves you.
Anybody? Bueller?
He's on a day off.
Okay, Ann says she wants to hear. Anybody? Okay, I'll give a list of songs. How about that? That would make it.
You're going to give the song list.
I'll give a song list. Okay, there it is. Okay. Now, I got to tell you, it's not professional. So these are songs that we just did. Now, a lot of these songs I have never sang before in my life. So you have to excuse me because I'm looking on this page here, and Turn the Page I've done, Proud Mary I've done. Those are the only two on that page I've done. But I sang them all.
68?
Yeah, I couldn't do 69. Because they were all guys. Actually,
Rockin' in He Free World.
Hey, don't make... I just did that in the middle of... I did this as a quick thing. All right, so pick... Okay, you want Turn the Page.
I've heard that one.
I like that one.
I'm going to play that one.
Just get over it and play it.
But it's not the best song in the group.
Well, that's fine.
And it's funny because the songs that I thought were the best songs were songs I've never sang. And Black Velvet was done by a woman, so that was difficult to... see, I'm about to... Almost did another...
What is with you and the Pepsi today?
It loves me so much it wants to be all over my body.
Oh, God.
That's disgusting.
So, all right, so we're going to play Turn the Page, and I'll play
I think I'm going to go sit in the laundry room.
Get your hand out of Trish's
It's
face.
just on the way it is on the camera. 'Cause
What's that mean?
whenever, you know how it does.
What, do I have the cursor down on your face?
No,
When you were talking with your hands, it looks like it's in my face.
Yeah, it looks like you were bitch
Like
slapping.
that?
Yeah, see, it looks like you were bitch slapping.
That's all.
And see, I can say.
Hey,
bitch
I can do a
slapping.
magic trick. Watch this trick. I'm going to make Trish disappear.
Oh man.
Okay, all right, abracadabra. And here she isn't. Somewhere. There we go. See, I made her disappear. Now I'm going to make her appear again. Go ahead. I mean, abracadabra. And there she is.
I don't like that one.
You
I
don't
don't
like
like
that-
that trick.
What was it like? What was it like to be
It's scary.
Scary down there?
Yeah.
I mean, was it dark? What was it?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And it's like the land of dead bones.
Oh.
Look at all the dead bones on the
Hey,
floor.
it comes up to a new song. I got Hold Trish in my hand. I got hold. Okay. All right, here's Turn the Page. And just remember, I warned you about this. So here we go. I'm going to skip the very beginning because it was really bad. Hopefully you can hear this.
Don't go all the way into this.
I can't. I don't know if I can turn this up anymore. Oh, this is going to be horrible if you can't hear it. Can you hear it?
Yeah.
Barely. That's timing's horrible. And by the way, I couldn't get them up to speed. They were too slow. I was trying to get them to get faster, and the drummer wasn't fast enough. I've known the drummer for almost a year.
Here I am on the road again.
Oh, stop talking.
Up on the stage, I go. Playing the star again. Here I go, turning the page. You walk into a restaurant, strung out from the road, and you feel the eyes upon you as you're shaking off the road. You pretend it doesn't bother you, but you just want to explode. Most times you can't hear them talk, other times you can. But the same old cliche, is it woman or is it man? You always seem outnumbered, you don't dare make a stand. Well, here I am on the road again. Here I am up on the stage. Here I go, playing star again. There I go, turn the page.
Yeah, that was a really weird ending.
It needs to be faster.
And it needs to be faster, yes. And here is Rockin' in the USA. Or no, Rockin' in the Free World. I'm going to move that a little ahead. I think. Wait. Why does that sound like...
Because it's the same song.
Where's that on there? Oh. Wonder why that... It's 5 minutes, so it probably has Rockin' in the USA. I guess I edited it wrong. before we end it. Just ahead a little bit.
The same old cliche. Is it woman or is it man? You always seem outnumbered. You don't dare make a stand. Well, here I am on the road again. There I am up on the stage. Where I go, playing star again. There I go, turn the page.
Maybe that is the only. Maybe I don't have Rockin' in the USA.
There's a bridge there. There's actually another bridge.
Yeah, that was very slow.
Smoke the days like
What the? Let's go back. I want to know what happened to Rockin' in the USA, or what happened to the. Hold on, I'm going to pull up the whole set. There's some songs here I've never. I mean, most of the songs I never sang before ever, and. Here we go. This is the Rockin' in the USA, or Rockin' in the Free World. By the way, the backing vocals really suck really bad. And just remember, we only did these songs one, maybe two times as a band. And I've heard these songs before, but I have never done a lot of these songs. This is one of them. That was the end of Rockin' in the Free World. Hey, we could have a new game.
Name that song?
No.
Name that tune.
Okay. Oh, well, you can't name that song because the title's up on this. Well, it's not up on the screen now. Okay, we're going to have a new game.
Okay.
1 point if you name the song, first person to name it. 1 point if you guess right whether I did this song in the past or not.
Now, that's not fair because I have a big advantage on that one.
I think that's The Rain Outside.
It is.
Wow. That's some nasty rain.
Well, they said there was
You
hail.
might have an advantage, but you might not have an advantage. It's up to her whether or not she wants.
Oh, well, let's try it because I'll probably fail anyway. I fail at everything.
Well, you know that.
Wait a minute. That's me on trauma. Never mind.
Okay, so 1 point.
Oh, you know what you need?
All right. So the question is, okay.
The times that I'm here,
okay.
we should have a mental health section.
Here's what we'll do. We'll have 3 points. You can make 3
God,
points.
now I have to remember stuff.
Okay, you'll have to write this stuff down because it's going to have to prove that you are that you know the stuff. The first one is the name of the song. The second one is the name of the band that did the song.
Oh.
And the third one is if I did it or not. You got 3 points you can make on each song. Does that sound fair?
Let's try.
You just want to torture us.
Yes.
Yes, that's his job.
Oh, you're going to pay for this. Next time you come back from one of your little things,
I believe I will.
Your dog is going to have all kinds of
What,
things.
you're not up to it? You're not good enough?
I'm
You
going
don't
to
think you're good
sparkle
enough?
the dog.
You don't
I
think
am
you're good
going
enough?
I know I'm good enough.
Are you good enough?
I'm going to sparkle the dog.
Are you?
It's been
Go ahead. Okay.
Okay, so I'm not going to tell you what the song is, or whether or not I did it, or who did the song. All right, you ready?
Summer of '69, Brian Adams. And no, you didn't.
What do you say?
Same thing he said.
Okay, I didn't. I think we got to figure out a way to do it where you can each earn points on
That's
your
like,
own.
Brian wrote that song for me.
Or maybe, okay, so what we'll do is I will have her answer it on paper first, and then I'll ask you.
Yeah, but see, Brian wrote that song for me.
Yes, I know. He told me.
See, I don't really know the song. I can hear the words.
Well, then you're going to lose.
And you're going to lose out.
I know.
She's going to take zeros from you.
I am on the board. I can do whatever I want. In fact, I'm on two boards.
You're off the board because you can't be on
Nope,
two
I
boards.
am on two
Our
boards.
board, our paperwork on the board says you can only be on one board.
Just like you pencil
Oh, wait a
in
minute,
at
here's
the
the bad
bottom.
part. Here's the bad part of the song. Here's the bad part of the song. Oh, I heard it. I hit it. What?
Fine.
Fine. You
know,
both got 3 points, so you,
After insecure, neurotic, and emotional.
What was fine?
Huh?
Insecure, feeling insecure, neurotic, and emotional.
Effed up, insecure, neurotic, and emotional. That's it.
you can't use up in this song. You can't use the word up. All right, you hear half of it? Next song? Ready for the next song?
And I have to write it on paper before she...
I think my phone is tired.
Yeah.
Oh, tired. Is that tired?
Tired.
All right, you ready for the next one? Oh wait, this is close to the end. It's a horrible ending. We didn't do any good endings at all. They just went keep playing. I'm like, okay, let's sing the song now.
They just like to play.
Well, the problem is we don't know any endings because all we. I was the first time for me, but I don't know how many times they've done this. And plus, the guy that runs this band wasn't there that night, and they invited me back again. Don't fall asleep.
I'm not.
Okay, here's the next song.
Okay, I know that's Black Velvet.
Yeah.
Okay. Now you gave her a point too because she may not have known that.
No, wait a minute. Is it, shit! It's right on the tip of my
A lot of
tongue.
miles. So I got that before you.
Well, I know he didn't do it.
Right. Yeah, I said no too.
Yeah.
So you got 2 on that, and I got 3. Was it Atlanta Miles? Well, you're supposed to know this crap.
I know the track. I think it is a woman.
It is.
Okay, so then.
My voice cracks in this one too. It's a very top of my range. It's part of this. The bass player is pretty good, by the way. If you listen to this, he has pretty good runs. All right, ready for the next one?
Yes.
All right, here's the next one, I think, somewhere.
We got something we both know about it. We can talk too much about it.
If anybody knows in the chat room.
I know you haven't done it.
Listen, it don't really matter to me.
Refugee. Who the hell sings this?
Yep, you got that. See that, but you're still on the new thing. Don't you cheat.
I'm not. I just know you didn't do it.
Somewhere, somebody must have kicked you around. So tell me why in your family, honey, it don't make no difference to me. Everybody's got the right to feel free. See it go. Have to live like a refugee.
Tom Petty.
We both got to.
Whoop, they lost it. Okay, next song. Oh, see, no, somebody knew it. Ann knew it.
Who?
Ann knew it.
Who? Oh, I can't see that far.
Oh, I'm sorry. You don't need to see that far. Okay, here's the next song.
Who sang it?
Tom Petty.
Tom Petty.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's right. Never mind.
I said it.
You did say it. Oh, I have the attention span of a spider.
Oh, this is the same song again. All right, we'll move on to the next song. Okay. Okay, next song. Maybe there is another one. I guess there wasn't any more, other than the second segment. All right, we can move on, and we can continue if we so choose at a later point. So we'll go on to the next thing then. All right.
I won by one.
Did you?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we should do the second one then. Give her a chance to redeem herself.
She should.
It's up to you guys.
It's up to the chat room. Let the chat room decide.
We'll let her win by one this time.
All right. Well, we'll maybe go back to that later on. Let's move on to some other fun stuff.
I finally find something I'm good at, and we move on.
Well, you won. You won. What more do you want?
I liked playing.
Oh, okay.
Fine.
Well, this next one, Robert Downey Jr. recalls the time he spent in prison in the 90s. Do you remember he kind of like, Robert Downey Jr. kind of spun off in the 90s and was in trouble all the time for doing a lot of drugs and stuff. And so he went to prison. But he talked about it in People magazine, saying about, because he's one of the most successful, right now he is one of the top 4 people in Hollywood as far as making money. So, back then, he was in all kinds of trouble because he was doing a lot of drugs and alcohol, and he was constantly getting in trouble for driving while drunk.
He looked like Nick Nolte.
He had a career like Nick Nolte, yes. Yep. Pretty much so, yes. He didn't, he just basically didn't take care of himself. And then he came straight and decided he was going to beat drugs and alcohol. And he did. And he's not only beat him, but he beat him soundly, and that he's now one of the most recognized and best people out there in movies today. So it says here, wait a minute, hold on here. Where's it at? Robert Downey Jr. is candid about serving time in prison decades ago. He's 58. He appeared on Armchair Expert podcast, co-hosted by Dax Shepard this week. At one point in a wide-ranging conversation, Downey recalled his jail time during the late 90s. After Shepard asked about jail, Downey said, "I'm going to try to give you the flashcards. I'm in court. I'm being over-sentenced by an angry judge, and at some point he said something in Latin. I thought he was casting a spell on me." 2 weeks later, I'm in a place called Delano, which is a receiving center where they decide where you're going to go. Arguably the most dangerous place I've ever been in my life, because nobody is designated. If they're a level 1, 2, 3, or 4 criminal, everyone's there. You could just feel the evil in the air. It was kind of like just being in a really bad neighborhood and there's no opportunity there. There were only threats. Continued Downey, he said, yes, everyone's going to take your wallet, so watch it. It was crazy because he had everything going his way. He had, movies, he had money, he had, everything he needed, but he kept getting into trouble. The actor recalled, "I remember walking out at one point when I hopped out of my cell to go to the shower. By the way, this would be the best soundbite." And I don't know about, I didn't know it, but there was a little spun out, and I had my underwear on backwards. I remember eliciting some strong chuckles and jeers from my fellow inmates. After being transferred, he described what it was like stepping out of the facility for the first time. Walking onto the yard that you're going to be doing more than a year on for the first time is the closest thing I can associate to being sent to a distant planet where there's no home until the planets align. No way home. I can't even imagine what he was going through, because here you go, you're a big actor in Hollywood, and now you're in jail. And talk about a direct opposite of what you have. Here you had everything.
Now you have nothing.
You got nothing, and you're in there with criminals, killers, just the worst place I could think of. It says the actor was arrested and charged with drug and weapon charges. Following the parole violations, he was sentenced in 1999 to 3 years of prison. He served a total of 15 months plus parole and probation time. Back in 2015, then Governor of California, Jerry Brown, pardoned him on the convictions. Though he acknowledged being incarcerated was one of the worst things that ever happened to him, he explained that after 2 weeks in prison, he found a pattern and somewhat adjusted the situation. We're programmed to, within a short period of time, to be able to adjust to things that seemingly are impossible. I know somebody who should learn that. Day 15 was the ball. By day 15, I'm playing. Literally, I'm dialed in. He said, of the prison culture, as long as you have a willingness to do harm, it's unlikely that you will be targeted. It really is a thing of what the difference is between acting like you're willing to do harm and being willing to do harm. So I couldn't imagine a worse place to be, because I just, I talk about killing someone zen. That would be a place to put it. That would kill it.
I've been there for a week, and that was a week too long.
I can't imagine. I was lucky enough that I've never. There was one time when I had potential of going to jail, and it was for something I didn't do, or something that I made good on.
Right.
Back in my old days, me and a friend of mine were with two girls. I was.
Well, that's your problem right there.
Yeah. Well, I was 21. He was like 19, and the girls were like 18, 17, something like that.
Minors.
And we got pulled over, and there was an open container of alcohol in my van. Now, first off, I didn't drink, and I don't drink, but because I had the container, I was fined. And I was fined a significant amount of money, which to me was anything over $10 was significant, because I didn't have a good job. In fact, I was playing music full time, which meant I was broke. Anyway, the girls got off, of course, and he and I had to pay a fine. I paid my fine, and the reason I know I paid my fine is my grandfather actually paid my fine for me, which was unbelievable because he never did anything like that before. But he gave me the money, and I had to pay him back, so I paid the fine off. Well, fast forward a couple years, probably a couple years. Oh, I might have only been 20 at that point, or 18. Ooh. I don't know. I don't remember when I got my van. Anyway, a couple years later, I got pulled over for a traffic violation. There was a light out in my van or something, and the cop said he had to take me downtown. I said, why do you have to take me downtown? Well, there's an outstanding warrant for your arrest.
Oh.
And I'm like, for what? And he told me what it was, and I said, I paid that. And they took me downtown, and after a couple hours, I didn't go into Pokey, by the way. I was in the
holding area.
Holding area. Well, they didn't put me behind bars at all.
Right.
I was just in a sitting area, and then
they call it where they interrogate you.
Well, they didn't even interrogate me. I had to wait for the judge to get in, basically. And once the judge got in, they realized that they were wrong and I was right, and that I had paid the fine, and they let me go.
Well, that was like, when there was that incident in Connecticut. Thankfully, I knew where the receipts were that the ticket was paid.
That was a crazy thing because I didn't want to go. So I was fortunate enough that I got it straightened out and I didn't go. But it was really scary because I had no way to prove that I paid for it because I paid for it in cash.
So you should always keep receipts.
I was young then. I had no idea what was going on. So anyway, all right, next one. So when I was a kid, we used to fix our own cars because we didn't have money to take it to a garage. So I had a really the best tool in the world to fix the car. My father, he could fix anything.
Sledgehammer?
He could fix anything. Actually,
I was going to say put it up on blocks.
Yeah, that would do it too because we were in a neighborhood like that. Anyway, but thanks to a new law that's going to be out, you're not going to be allowed to work on your own car. So thank you, Mr. Biden.
Serious?
Biden administration kills your right to repair.
Well, that's why I have my future son-in-law do mine.
But he won't be legally allowed to do that unless he has...
It's not his car.
That's right.
What?
Because he can work on somebody else's car, but he can't work on his
No,
own.
he can't work on yours either. You have to go to a repair shop for this. If Biden's thing gets okayed, you have to go to a certified shop to have your car worked on. So this is another reason to hate Biden.
Yeah, because
Like
there
you
goes
need
the
any
repair
more?
bills.
If you think fixing your car was expensive before, get ready. For a long time, automakers have been trying to make it difficult, if not illegal, to fix your own car, truck, or SUV. The dream of too many in the industry is consumers having to go to a dealership service department for pretty much any maintenance or repair job, violating your right to repair or have an independent shop perform repairs. And it looks like the Biden administration has handed them the key to make that a reality. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration has told automakers it doesn't need to allow access to anyone. Okay, so what the deal is, it's my car can be fixed via my wireless internet, because a lot of the stuff is software. So now other manufacturers are doing that too. So if I have a problem with my full self-driving, for instance, I get updates over the air. That's because I'm driving a computer. I'm not Tesla is not a car company. It's a technology company.
Right.
And they built their computer with wheels from the wheels up, and so they can fix just about anything with software. However, the other guys are car manufacturers trying to be a Tesla. And so a lot of these guys, I don't trust over-the-air stuff from a lot of these guys. It says the National Highway Safety Administration has told automakers it doesn't need to allow access to anyone wireless access to vehicles in order to diagnose and repair certain problems. That flies in the face of the so-called right to repair law that passed in Massachusetts and undoubtedly will make vehicle ownership more expensive. Safety is cited as the reason for this shift in regulatory policy. This wasn't included in a law voted on by U.S. Congress, but instead was something Biden through the NHTSA has mandated. Now, first off, Biden doesn't like Tesla. When he talked about
Then he better not own one.
well, he probably never will. He talked about the top EV manufacturers, and he said that Chevy was the number one seller of
He doesn't know
EVs.
his butt from a hole in the ground.
Chevy.
Well, he can't get his hole in the ground up a flight of stairs anyway, but we can't.
Chevy is really way down that list, and so is Ford, because EVs are made by so many vehicle companies overseas. We're way behind that 8 ball, and it scares me that they're going to. I don't know if I would imagine flat tires would not be included in this thing. But anyway, it says here, but instead was written something. It says here, this wasn't included in a law voted on by Congress, but instead was something Biden through NHTSA has mandated. And just like that, automakers can feel free to not share access to unique tools and information necessary to fix newer cars. This isn't a conspiracy theory. The lazy way too many dismiss facts which aren't convenient to their prefabricated narrative. Instead, it's a very real threat to those who could easily cause expenses associated with car ownership to inflate rapidly. That would be a terrifying thing if you can't fix your car. I mean, I like the fact that I don't need to take my car. Well, I
So
don't
does that mean, what about like for inspections and things?
I would imagine that somehow that would be, I mean, if you have to get your car worked on at any point, it's going to be more expensive if you have to take it to a dealership rather than an independent place.
Right, and Ann was saying, she was asking if Tesla can fix flat tires over the internet.
Yes.
Yeah, they're called run flats.
No, it's called, you call their 800 number and they send a guy there to fix it for you. So, yes, but sadly, it's one of those things that, there's not much you can do. I mean, because we don't have a spare.
I have a Chevy in probably about 25 years ago, and it needed something done with that thing that blows the air. And this is good.
Air
The fan.
conditioner?
This is somebody that doesn't know anything about cars. But the dealer was the only one that had the key
Right.
to unlock the dash.
Mhm.
And it was $500 just for them to unlock the dash,
Yep.
replace a part that was $60,
Yep.
and then to put the dash back on.
Yep.
And I went through a complete winter without a defroster just because I was ticked off.
Yep.
Oh, I was mad.
Well, it's horrible when they start putting those kind of things in there that you have no choice. I mean, think about this. When we got the key made for the Prius, how much it was for the locksmith to do it.
Yes.
And how much it was for the dealer to do it.
Yes.
And the dealer was a whole lot more expensive.
Oh, yeah.
And we only ended up getting one key from the locksmith. So we have one key for the Prius, and then he has the backup. And then, if I'm in Maryland, I'm really messed up.
Well, if she's in Maryland or Harrisburg or any other place that she is. she's-
On the planet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but anyway, I don't like them having that much power like that to just automatically say, well, now you're going to pay more money. See, Biden does nothing to help the people. He isn't doing anything to help the people here. He's doing something to hurt the people. He's going to help the dealerships. That's awesome if you were working for a deal. If you're a dealership. So, all right, next question. I'm not. You know the answer to this one. So, do you remember there was I guess in the 90s, there was an annoying maid that had a TV show, and she had a horrible, annoying voice. Do you remember her name?
The nanny.
That is the name of the show.
Good.
Yeah, it was Fran Drescher.
There you are. You got it. Now she's in the news.
You said annoying voice. That's
Yes.
what.
That just did it.
And she's not only is she annoying, but she is the head of SAG-AFTRA, which is the about to go on strike. SAG-AFTRA, for those of you that wanted to know or are interested in knowing, is the union that keeps actors safe. It
always
helps them.
sounded like she was talking
Yes,
from her nose.
and I couldn't even watch the show. It just annoyed me so much. Anyway, she is head of the SAG-AFTRA, and she is. I think it's kind of funny because I just didn't know. I never would have thought of her. But could you imagine listening to that voice for a meeting? All right, everybody. Here we're going.
Here, the first item on the agenda.
That's exactly like that. I don't know if she really talks like that, but I'll tell you, she's annoying as crap. So it says unite for strengthen membership first groups, which generally have bitter rivals, have come together behind the nanny star and a slate of candidates. Fran Drescher is running for the re-election. I guess she's been the SAG-AFTRA person for a long time. I know I haven't heard her name in I don't even know how long, because I mean that had to be in the 90s, I would think, or maybe even the 80s. I don't know, because I didn't watch her show and I refused to watch her show. So, and the other reason I refused to watch her show is she was annoying to listen to, and people loved her. They loved
I
that
watched
show.
her a little bit. And once I got enough of that voice, I was like, "Yep, okay, time to go."
I mean, they apparently loved that show, apparently, because it was on for a couple years, wasn't it? It wasn't like it was just on for 1 year or anything. So, so if you don't run for this, I'm going to have to talk a little longer, or whatever her voice was. It was just a freaking annoying voice.
So
But,
who's going to keep the people safe from that voice?
yeah, really. It's a good question.
That's a
Very good.
That was my.
Bring that up on the agenda for next month.
Okay.
Oh shoot! I hated her voice so much I closed the article out. Anyway, so she's trying. She's SAG is one of the groups, and AFTRA is the other. But apparently, she's working for both of those. So it's kind of funny, and just was that. That's the only thing I really cared about on this article, was that there was a person I couldn't stand, and she wasn't in the news for being an actress. She was in the news for being head of SAG-AFTRA. So that was kind of funny. Paramount cancels 4 series. The series include, and I didn't even know there was a series called Grease, the game. Apparently there is a game, apparently there is a, well, there was a program called Grease the Game. I wouldn't know. Oh, maybe it's The Game. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, there is one called The Game. There's one called Grease, Rise of the Pink Ladies. Queen of the Universe and Star Trek Prodigy will not be returning for additional seasons. So, yeah, so the Paramount is basically the Star Trek network, because they're the ones that started the whole Star Trek phenomenon, and actually, I guess, the Next Generation and all the versions of Star Trek. So they're the home of Star Trek. So, yeah, it looks like they just did a lot of cancellations, but we did cancellations for other people last week, I think, or a couple weeks ago. So I just thought it was interesting that they canceled one of the Star Treks I thought they canceled, and I was glad to figure out that it wasn't that one. The one that we started watching, the one that has Captain Pike
Okay.
as the captain, and Spock is in that as well, and it has there's a new officer who's a lieutenant. His name is Kirk.
Oh.
I haven't seen Kirk yet, but they did announce that he was coming on
Okay.
board, but it wasn't the Kirk. So I just think it's funny. But the other one, I never heard of, Grease Rise of the Pink Ladies, and
I've heard of it, I just haven't watched it.
And it's a drag singing competition is Queen of the Universe. Finished its 8th episode of the 2nd season earlier this week, and it says it will stream in its entirety until it's removed from Paramount on June 30th. So I guess that one's on its way out as well. So I don't know. I don't think I've watched any of the Paramount shows other than the Star Trek one that I liked. Picard is on there too as well, but that's not been canceled yet. But I think this season is the end of Picard, if I remember correctly. This is a good one. Whoopi Goldberg's in the news.
Oh boy.
Whoopi Goldberg.
Jail?
Huh?
No, I'm good.
What?
I was thinking maybe she had jail time.
Whoopi Goldberg brings The View to a standstill with a profane blunder. So I guess we could play it. Let me see if I've got the video here. Let's see. And it's a funny one too, by the way. She didn't try to do this. So let's see. I don't think that's a video though. Let's see if we got the video here. Oh, here's the video. All right, so how do I make this big? Watch it on Twitter. Okay. Let's see if we can do this.
A poll, excuse me. A poll of 2,000 adults in the UK found that
What?
travel, cuisine is more important to them than landmarks or beaches.
Well, who wants to be with a bitch? I mean, after all. So that's what she did.
Depends on what definition you're looking at.
I thought you'd like that.
Travel for the beach.
And that was live, I guess. Is that your
I'm
live?
sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, she's in trouble. She can't stop it.
It says beaches. This is y'all's fault.
No
And
beeping
I
that
can't
one.
even tell you why it's their fault, but we were talking about something else. But do you agree? Is it about the food? Is
I
it about
agree,
the
honey.
ground?
I don't think anybody
travel
cares
anywhere.
about that after you screwed up the B word. So I just thought that was funny. I heard that today, and I thought, okay, that's a good one to use. So we'll play that one. And then we got, so I never really quite explained the writer's strike.
Okay.
And I got the information here so we can actually talk intelligently somewhat about the writer's strike. I tried to explain it, but I kind of got lost in details, and then I forgot what the correct ones were. So I can actually explain it to you now because I got information on it. The 2023 writer's strike explained how we got here and what to expect. So what it is the writer's strike I tried to explain it, but then I got lost in
the weeds.
Well, I was a little confused as to, but I heard a lot of stuff since I talked about it, and I'm going to try to clarify some questions on the writer's strike. And if I'm wrong,
blame it on the internet.
Yeah, if I'm wrong, just blame it on the fact that I don't know what I'm talking about.
We want a registered letter sent to the board.
And I'm sure they won't read it.
Yeah, we won't read it.
We don't care if you read it or not.
You're darn right, we're just going to ignore you.
Yeah. So, they actually have a video. Maybe that'll explain it. I won't even have to tell you about it. Oh, wait a minute. They're going to have a commercial, aren't they? Yep, they are. No, wait. No, they aren't. Are they commercial? Okay. Oh, that is a commercial. Damn it. Fuckers. I mean, darn it.
Boy, you're really getting...
They're beaches.
Beaches.
Yeah, this...
Son of a beach.
No, that's called a dust bunny.
His PG rating's going to hell in a handbasket.
I already put me as an adult entertainer, so. Okay, now we're going to listen to this guy, and hopefully he can help explain it, but here we go.
Listen to gig workers, and we're not going to allow it, and that's why we're out here.
Oh, we know that. Now you got to tell us about it. Listen, it includes a lot of people, because if you have a show you watch scripted, you're not going to get people.
We made it crystal clear to the companies that the current situation is untenable, that they had broken a model that had lasted for decades and they needed to fix it.
Okay, the model that they're talking about is if you were on a TV show, or if you wrote for a TV show, let's talk about that. We're only talking writers right now. If you wrote for a TV show prior to this, prior to Netflix and HBO Max, I'm sorry, Max, not HBO Max, just Max, and Hulu and Disney Plus.
Like Pluto and Peacock and all those?
Well, Pluto was not really included, because part of Pluto is real stations that, I wonder, Pluto might be included on that. Anyway, so what happens is you could have real-time data, because you have things like, how many people watch. Okay, let's use Walking Dead as an example, because I can actually take it to the next level on that. Right. Let's talk about Walking Dead. So you have 11 seasons of Walking Dead, and you go through and you watch your Walking Dead every week. Well, they know how many people watch that show live.
Okay.
Because they have a place that runs the statistics of who's watching what and when. But if you watch it on Netflix, they have no way of knowing how many people. I mean, they don't. I'm sorry, they do know how many, because
subscribers.
They know how many times it's been streamed, but they don't get paid for. Because you can watch it today, you could watch it tomorrow, you could watch it the next day, you could watch it 3 times in a row. They don't have an accurate number of things. And then there's people that share passwords, and they can tell how many people watched it, but not live. Okay, so when you get your first check for it, okay, if you get paid residuals, you get X amount for the initial streaming, and then if it's a year old or whatever, you get it goes downwards. Okay, the amount. So when they have like a Netflix or something, they don't get paid for. The writers do not get paid for Netflix. They do not get paid for Hulu. They do not get paid unless it's a Hulu product. If Hulu started the product, but if they bought the product or leased the product from AMC or from whoever, even your TV, even your movie products. That one of the reasons Disney pulled the stuff from Netflix, like Disney owns all the Marvel movies.
Right.
Well, the place you would go to watch a Marvel movie would be Netflix up until then, and the reason is they could stream Netflix and watch the Marvel movies, and none of the writers would be paid for that streaming. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to get the streaming platforms, more than anything, are not paying. Now, Disney created their own platform which you're not paying for too. So they're on both sides of the fence because they don't want to pay, yet they want to be paid. And so all these streaming platforms are basically a way to not pay the people. So I guess they paid a flat rate to lease those programs, and they don't pay by how many people. They're paying by the program, by the amount. So they're not paying the people the way they should be. So the writers aren't getting paid. Now here's one that'll really mess with your head. HBO has Sopranos, has all these great shows on. Okay, when Max bought them out, if you stream Sopranos, guess what? Nobody gets paid residuals, not even the actors.
Wow.
And because I don't know how they got away with it, because it's still streaming and somebody owns that platform, somebody owns that software, or that movie or TV show. So somehow, and that's part of the reason why the strike is on, because they screwed all the actors and stuff once they went to Max. So all the stuff that was being paid, and by the way, it gets paid on a scale. So the longer it's out, the less money you would make with whether you're an actor or a writer or whatever. But the Screen Actors Guild is trying to get paid for those things because they don't pay for the writing. They only pay for the fee for whatever it is. So that's what the whole writers' strike is about. So when people say, well, what is it about? Because it is a lot of weird, why am I off of the, am I in the room or not? Geez, I can't even tell if I'm in the room. How'd I get out of the room? I kicked me out of the room. Well, what kind of guy am I? I kicked myself out of the room. Okay, I'm back. Okay. Anyway, so that's what they're doing, is they're just trying to be, because somebody is making a lot of money and it's not the people that did the work. So that's what it's all about. That's kind of what it's all about in a nutshell, the Reader's Digest version of why people are getting upset. And this is why this poor woman is upset, because...
Or else there would be this great consequence, and here we are. So as soon as they're ready to talk again and actually talk about the issues that they refused to talk about the last 6 weeks, we'll be here and waiting for them to come back to the table. So we want to codify in the NBA the fact that there is a writer's room. It is our feeling that they are planning on trying to shrink writers' room to the point of non-existence and turn us into freelance writers or gig writers, and that is unacceptable to us.
You know, it's a
not only
we
are
really
they
want
doing that, but
to show the world all the.
Okay, so I remember Bobby Finero was talking about this from The Sopranos. He was telling about he's the one that said that he gets no residuals now that Max took over, but he said that he's spending, now he directs things and he acts in things, but he said he's supporting them by every Wednesday going out and picketing with them, even though he's not technically one of them. He is technically part of the group because he does direct and do other things. Actually, I'd like to have him direct my thing that I'm working on, so if we ever get a deal, he's one of the people I would look at. He's a great guy. He's actually very intelligent about things like this. But that's what it's about, is that the corporations are trying to push their way out of paying things, and they're just saying, it says, writers say they want a living wage. I mean, the people that make the least amount of money out of the whole group are the writers. And they spend a lot of time writing, and so...
because don't they have to think up all these lines and... Exactly.
Yep. Writers say they want a living wage. They want a wage. As streaming devalues their work, as it demands more of their time. Studios say the Guild is asking too much at the wrong time. See, the thing is, like, even with actors, for instance... some actors may get $20,000 to do a commercial.
Right.
or to do an acting role. But that acting role might be a bit part, and they may not have another job for another 6 months.
Yeah, but that 20,000 they can live on if they don't
If you're
spend
living
it
in New
foolishly.
York, you can't. If you live in New York, you're paying $5,000 a month for rent.
Wow.
3,000 to 5,000. So actually, that you can't. A lot of these guys, even Robert Finero says he's not strictly an actor right now because things aren't going, especially with COVID and everything, where everything was shut down. Well, now it's shut down because there's no writers that are crossing the picket line, and it's important to them that they stand united, because if they don't, the people that are going to make the money are going to be the wrong people, the people that didn't deserve the money. So they've got a right to say what's going on. You may write for a show. Say you're writing for a show. Let's say what's your favorite show? Or just name a show.
Dukes of Hazzard.
Okay. Okay. A current show.
Current show.
Something that's not
Big
40
Brother.
years old. Okay.
Mork and Mindy.
Okay. Pick a non-reality show.
Okay.
Like
Two Broke Girls.
Yeah. Okay.
Again, pick a show that's out today. Okay,
Two Broke Girls is out.
I'll use yeah, but it's not out today. They don't make new episodes. But I can use that one. Okay, so let's say they have.
And you put up with this. Why? Never mind.
Well, if you want to learn.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay, so Two Broke Girls. Let's use that one for an example.
Okay.
So you have the writers for that show, and that show. Let's say they write. Let's say they write 23 episodes, because it's either 23 or 10 or 12 or something. It's an odd number. But let's say 23, because that's 23 weeks. So let's say you wrote for that show. All right, now you get paid for 23 weeks of writing.
Right.
Now you don't have a show till next year.
Oops. You're out of a job.
So what do they do for the next couple weeks? Thousands of weeks, hundreds of weeks, whatever it is. You don't know when your next paycheck's coming. So you don't want to be sitting on your butt waiting for that money. And once that's canceled, you got no money coming in except the residual money.
Well, I mean,
so they're going to work for 20. How many weeks or how many months is 23 weeks?
Half a year.
About
is it?
4.
No,
well, yeah, about 6 months.
6 months.
Right, yeah, because
Not quite
52
6
weeks in a year. But the thing is, we give residuals to people, they rent things, they buy things. There's always residuals going for music. So everybody should get a residual in perpetuity for whatever they do that is
Correct.
continued
That's
on.
that's what they're trying for.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
That's correct.
But then the actors are going to do the same thing.
The actors
And I
already
mean,
get
and it's-
residuals.
Right, but it's even still the fact that if it's 5 cents, it's still the 5 cents. Because the
correct.
5 cents is going to add up
Yes.
over time to
Yes.
be something else.
That's
But the
correct.
thing is, though, I mean, and the fact that it almost like erases them as the originator of the object or whatever they've written. It just, then it just gets kind of tossed around like a basketball. And they should get the credit for that. It shouldn't just be because it's out there in cyberspace.
See, now the reason why musicians get that is because that is a union that actually works. It's not been, because if like they had a problem when they were streaming it too, because what's the big
iTunes?
the other one
Spotify?
Spotify was paying the least amount of residuals to the people. In fact, that's why Taylor Swift refused to go on it, and a couple of the other big guys refused to go on it till it was fixed, because they could afford to not get their couple cents.
Mm-hmm.
I got paid off of them, and I don't get paid what I would get paid anywhere else, because they are cheap, and it's either take it or leave it. And if I leave it, I don't get paid anything.
Right.
So I take what I can. But residuals are a really difficult thing because nobody wants to pay it. And the people that want it are going to fight to get every penny they can get. And so it sucks because of that, because there are problems with paying and stuff like that. So I really think that, that there's they'll come to a resolution, and they've gotta do it, and they've gotta, because if you don't have any writers, you've got no programming, and you got to keep the programming coming because people want to see new programs. So and by the way, when I was talking about Walking Dead, Walking Dead, the reason that they wanted to end their Walking Dead season is that they ran into a bad deal with Netflix. They made a deal with Netflix that you could get the past Walking Dead at a set rate, and many of the people weren't being compensated for it. They were getting paid for what they agreed on, but as the writers, for instance, weren't being compensated for their work on Netflix.
Wow.
So, yeah, you just got to kind of, it's one of those things that it's because it's new, nobody ever had to address it before. So there you go. There's in a nutshell, what the writer's strike is about. And so reality TV, for the most part, is not scripted, but there is some scripting on most of the network TV, most of the stuff, but they aren't as affected as the other stuff. So reality TV can still go, like American Ninja Warrior is not scripted. So you don't have to worry about writing for them. That's why they had the new ones on. Well, plus it was a couple months ago. They probably shot that too, so it was probably already done probably. But they had a shortened season by looks of things.
Something like Law and Order.
Law and Order, you're screwed.
Yeah.
You won't see any new Law and Orders.
Chicago Fires,
Yep.
Chicago
Yeah. All that stuff.
Chicago Med.
Now, fortunately, it's the summertime when the stuff slows down anyway, because people are going on vacation or whatever. But there are, a lot of our shows aren't playing right now, but like Walking Dead just wrapped The Dead City, which we're seeing now, but they won't be doing any new ones until, actually, I think they did season 2 as well. They only did 6 episodes, so they had time to do 2 seasons this year. Now they're going to do more seasons probably or they'll probably do longer seasons as the show develops. So they picked a good time, and plus Daryl's show is done shooting, I think, season 1 and 2, and Rick's I know is done with 1, but that'll carry us on through the fall. They will have to figure something out if they don't get this settled in the next period of time. All right, next one. Righteous Gemstones is a show that I like. It has Dan, or not Dan Blocker, Dan, what's his name?
Quayle.
No, the Roseanne guy. Not Dan. His real name is John Goodman. Okay, he is
not
also,
even Dan.
Yeah, it's not even Dan.
That's the character name.
Yeah. Anyway, he's in that too, and it's a really hilarious show on HBO. I'm on Max, not on HBO. It's on Max because HBO isn't around anymore. This show is about scammer preachers. It's a comedy, and I think it's hilarious. I really like the show. It just started up this past week. On the 18th is the new season. Anyway, the reason I'm bringing it up is that the Righteous Gemstones turned a 55-year-old country gospel song into season 3 jewel. Now the TV show is so corrupted, if you want it. I don't know what else to call it, because it's hilarious, because they show a side that we never would, that we, like, when I think of Pat Robertson, I think of this in its place. I think of this kind of fundraising and stuff that he would do. It's probably not true, by the way, but I still think of that when I watch the Gemstones. I think it's a great show. You saw a couple of them, right?
I saw a couple episodes of it, yeah.
And they're up to season 3, and it's funny because they're always covering up each other's, like, illegal things that they're doing.
Or whoever they're sleeping with or doing with, or all the other kind of crazy.
Like John Goodman's son in there is to be the heir to the throne of his religious thing, and he had a party one time and had all his friends there, and they had a stripper there, and he had cocaine. It's just everything wrong about things like that you know.
But there was also a videotape,
Yes,
and someone tried to, blackmail them, and it was so funny because they tried, and then they ran over people. And
yeah, it was horrible. It was horribly wrong. It was just wrong on every level.
Every level, but the thing was, it was just so common. It wasn't even. It was just bad.
If you know who Danny McBride is, he's the writer of this show, and he's also been
You mean he's not on strike?
Well, the show's already done.
Oh,
so
okay.
he should be on strike, I would imagine that, because but anyway, he has written a lot of really, really off-brand stuff. Down and Out is one of his, no, I'm sorry, Eastbound and Down, I think it was called.
Okay.
That's one of his shows. And it's really hilarious. He was a failed baseball player and trying to make a comeback. And it was so wrong. He ends up being a gym teacher in a high school. And he's saying F this, and he just had the same language that he's not supposed to use in school. He's doing it in school and stuff. It just is really bad, and it's funny because it's so bad and so wrong. Anyway, it says if you've seen the opening scene of the latest episode of The Righteous Gemstones, congratulations. There will be a payday. We'll be on a resident of your subconscious for the next couple weeks, and you can credit a few different people. First, there's an incomparable Walter Goggins, which is the poolside. This is Billy, his brother. This is Goodman's brother in this. What do they call him? Little Billy, or Baby Billy, whose poolside Baby Billy performance of the song opens things up in a waltz time country gospel flair. There's also Red Solvine, who originally recorded the track of the 1978 Swan Song album, 16 gospel songs, helping to cap off his prolific two-decade career as a recording artist. Righteous Gemstones composer Joseph Stevens is the other key part of the show. The show is just wrong on every level. It's
because they talk about things in such, they try to make it sound so Christian, like when they're saying it. But then when you flip the switch and you go behind the thing, and then they're counting the money, like, it's like it's somebody from Vegas. They got things flipping everything. It is just hysterically funny.
And the daughter is like the head of the accounting, and she's skimming money off the top. It's like everything that could be wrong with
is wrong.
Is wrong, and it's just hilarious. One of these days,
is it supposed to? I mean, maybe
it's supposed to be that way. It's supposed to be really. It's a.
So it makes you wonder.
It's a documentary.
Yeah.
One of these days you can come over early and I'll set you one up with it. It's just horribly wrong, but it's so funny. It's so wrong. And the brothers and the sister are fighting over who's going to take over when Daddy retires, and
and the daughter's always trying to be, look, Daddy, I'm so good. And then her husband is so whipped.
He's so whipped.
Oh, and really whipped.
He's trying to be the perfect husband, and she just doesn't even really like him, I think. It's just so funny, and he's really only a showpiece, It's kind of like the girl's usually the showpiece. This girl has him for a showpiece. It's just wrong on
and their private jet, of course.
Yes. And they're in gunfights with guys that are after them, and it's just hilariously stupid. But, it's one of those things that you can't, you're not allowed to enjoy it because it's one of those guilty pleasures, I guess.
Just get a chocolate bar, sit there and watch it.
Yes. Anyway, that's all I want to say about that. We'll move on to the next thing. Let's see, what is my next thing to talk about?
Cheyenne ate all the good part off of the outside of the bag.
Of course she does. Of course she does.
And now she's back for something
else. She's like, what can I have now?
Yes, is there anything
There's nothing left of it.
The good stuff's gone.
Uh-oh, what did I do? I got rid of that. Oh, no, I got rid of the wrong thing.
Oops.
There it is. Okay. So this other article, so I get acting listings. And this is, to me, this was the best listing I've seen in a long time. This is a listing for a part that is, when you see this, you're going to laugh. This is from backstage. This is the part. Okay, the part is a little kid.
That leaves you out.
From 5 to 12.
Okay.
The next part is a helpful citizen. He's from 18 to 55.
You might work.
And then there's a kidnapper.
Oh, that's definitely you.
Okay. Now, here's the thing that's funny about it. Okay, they're paying $20 for the part of the helpful citizen,
Okay.
and $40 for the kidnapper.
Only because the kidnapper has to deal with whoever he is kidnapping.
The little kid.
Yeah, the little kid that's being kidnapped and traumatized because the kid's fighting back.
It's funny. I saw that and I thought, oh, it pays to be a kidnapper. It doesn't pay to be a helpful citizen.
Well, maybe they have cake. You know, you can take $40 and buy a cake.
That's it, yeah. Got to have something to kidnap. Anyway, so I thought that was funny. That's the only thing I wanted to say about that is that it's funny because I found that this morning or this afternoon. I said, oh, I could be the helpful citizen. And I realized.
Our buddy Mark Mest, he has the shirt that says.
I know.
About, kidnappers who he...
It's called Fat People Are Hard to Kidnap.
Yeah, that's it.
I thought that was pretty
I
good.
see any reason not to go on a diet.
Yeah, it's for insurance reasons. You choose to not be kidnapped.
This is true.
Oh man. Okay, so the next thing. This billionaire is in the news. James Crown. He died in a crash at the Colorado racetrack.
Oh.
Now, first off, I want to know why this billionaire is even driving in this crash. Or driving in this racetrack.
Well, maybe that was on his bucket list.
Well, he finished his bucket list then. Maybe a little early, but
he's now a meat patty.
He's now
Kid Mark.
Oh, and by the way, I gotta take a look at this. Do you think she's with him for the money?
Yes.
Because this guy is 70 years old, and she's probably
18. No,
well, I wouldn't say that.
I'd say early 20s.
Yeah, but, I would. Well, I would say she's probably a little older than that, but
okay, maybe 40.
Well, we could find out. Let's find out how old he is. So we'll. I mean, we know how old he is, but we'll see how old she is. Let's see if we can find out through Google.
He is 70.
He's 70. So how old is his wife? That's the question. Because she apparently inherited, I would imagine, a lot of money. She probably maybe fixed the car. Maybe that's why we're not allowed to fix our own cars anymore.
That's what it is. She fixed his car for real.
Oh shoot! He doesn't have a Wikipedia. What's up with that?
Maybe.
He can't be too good. There's no Wikipedia.
I found that one.
I want to know how old she is. That girl, she's got plenty of money now. Let's see if we have
everything I'm seeing doesn't say.
Yeah, most of the stuff has him in it, not her.
Paula.
Let me see. I guess. Well, regardless, that's not why I put it up there. I put it up there because this guy was a billionaire, and says a prominent Chicago billionaire died in a car crash Sunday at a racetrack in Colorado. James Crown, a businessman and
philanthropist.
Yes, one of those, who is part of Chicago's wealthy Crown family, suffered blunt force trauma after hitting an impact barrier at Aspen Motorsports Park in Woody Creek. The coroner's office said the final cause for death is still pending an investigation. Crown, who owned Aspen Skiing Company, among other businesses, was 70 years old at the time of death. The fatal crash has been ruled an accident by the coroner. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson shared in a statement.
I know how old she is.
How old is she?
64.
No.
Oh, she looks good for 64.
She was born in January 1959.
Well, I guess I can't say she's a gold digger then.
Well, no, she used all that money for plastic surgery, obviously.
Hey, if you got it, use it.
Oh, yeah.
I would say I would probably I spent some money on plastic surgery myself. Can't even tell. See, it's that good. Anyway, oh yeah, I like when you moan.
And they have 4 children together.
Oh, well then we got to split the money. They're going to be, boy, that $1 billion is going away real quick.
Isn't it?
Yeah, that didn't take much. Oops, I already did that? Did I already send that out? Oh, okay.
His parents are still alive, 2
Really?
grandchildren,
Holy cow.
6 siblings. Yep.
Wow. See, I didn't know all that. With his generosity, Jim embodied the soul of Chicago.
That's what she's there for.
What's that?
To give you all the right information.
Oh, okay. Well, that's why I kept her on. You know, she gets me the stuff I need when I need it.
I just sit here and play games.
That's cool.
Well, not really. Just I'm doing like work.
Now, this person gave a comment on this, and his name is Dishwasher Safe. That's got to be credible. Aspen Motor Park Sports is a private racetrack, private club, and it's a road racing track for well-heeled people. Take out their exotic and vintage race cars on the track. There's an increasing number of these clubs for the rich people who find golf boring. At Aspen and other clubs, you can keep your car in a garage on site. Some clubs even have condos above the garages. Try as I might, I cannot find out what kind of car he was driving. If it was a vintage racing car, well, that sounds about right. A modern exotic has crush zones, airbags, and it's rare to get killed in one on the track. Yeah, that's true. When was the last time? I mean, race car guys don't die that often in the race cars. I mean, a couple die here and there, but...
Well, they've got rollover bars now.
Well, it says
and they're
here,
in flame retardant suits.
Yeah.
So once they get in, and if they do crash, and if they're able to get themselves out, then they just hose them off with that little thing that fire extinguishes.
Well, it says here, a modern exotic has crush zones, airbags, and it's rare to get killed in one on a racetrack, but something like a tube frame, fiberglass bodied vintage racing car like an old Formula 5000 car with tons of power can still be quite dangerous. So there you go. So Dishwasher Safe said that.
I tell you, I am so well informed now. I really feel like I could just go out and drive around I'll go out and drive around the lane.
Or at least you can get your dishes done right.
Well, this is true. You know how good I am at dishes.
Yeah.
Paper ones are easier.
I know. They said I could have a bonfire and get warm.
So a woman got fatally shot. A woman fatally shot an Uber driver in Texas. She said that she wrongly thought she was being kidnapped.
Seriously?
Really? That's what I said.
How do you,
what?
like fake not? How do you not know?
Are you my driver, or are you just going to kidnap me?
Really? Maybe he would have to be like holding her down or macing her or something.
Why would you get in the car if you thought you were being kidnapped? That's what I want to know.
Because the app said your driver has arrived.
Well, what do you need? I mean, what more do you need? Do you need? I mean, it sounds kind of weird, kind of shaky.
What was
on
the
that.
rest of the story? Because obviously she doesn't have a brain in her head.
Well, we're gonna look at that right now.
Oh my gosh, that is terrible.
And they have apparently they have a GoFundMe on this.
Yeah, because he probably had no money because he was an Uber driver.
Yeah, well, let's see what what's it say? Here we go. Wait a minute. Now let me hit this. Is this the right one? Okay. Trying to figure out. Oh, that's the wrong way. I want to go the other way. I want to back this up. Back it up. All right. And we've got to turn the power.
We have really seen a disturbing rise in gun violence across the country, and it really seems to have affected cities big and small all over the country.
Gun violence rising in the U.S. Know what we know.
For many years, we had been seeing a decline in gun violence, although it remains a terrible problem in this country.
Let's take that one off. That's not going to.
The last couple years, it has been a.
Okay, shut up. A woman accused of shooting her Uber driver in West Texas after mistakenly believing she was being kidnapped into Mexico has been charged with the murder. Phoebe Copas, 48, who is from Thompsonville, Kentucky, was visiting with her boyfriend in El Paso, Texas, when the driver was shot June 16th. The El Paso Police Department said the Copas shot the 52-year-old Daniel Piedro Garcia in the head while he was driving her to a location in far southeast El Paso. According to the complaint, Copas saw traffic signs that read Juarez, Mexico during her ride and falsely believed she was being kidnapped and taken to Mexico. El Paso is on the U.S.-Mexico border. El Paso police officers initially arrested and charged Copas on a suspicion of aggravated assault causing serious bodily injury, and booked into El Paso County Jail and remained jailed Sunday. While Piedra's death, with that death, the charge has been upgraded to murder. El Paso Police Department officials said Copas' bond is now set at $1.5 million. There she is. Now, would you kidnap that person?
No, she looks like she was crying.
Well, I would imagine she
feels
was.
remorse.
I don't know if she feels remorse or if she's on crack.
I think she's saying, the guy.
You know that's got to be a wig. That can't be her hair. She was having, yeah, she had a bad hair day and she took it out on that poor
She's
guy.
saying, I really think he was gonna take me over the border.
I think she was racist.
Yeah, well, she's black, so I don't really know that she was racist. I guess because
But was her driver white?
I would imagine with that name he was probably Mexican.
Okay, well, same thing. She was racist.
It says Piedra picked up Copas at 2 p.m. in a gray Nissan Maxima and was driving to meet her with her boyfriend. As they drove US 54 southbound in the south central El Paso, Copas saw traffic signs that said Juarez, Mexico, that led her to believe that Piedra was trying to kidnap her and take her across the border.
Oh, for crying out
Copas
loud.
is accused of grabbing a silver and brown handgun from her purse and shooting Piedra in the back right side of his head. See, now, why didn't she could have kept the gun in the purse and said, hey, could you
Can
tell
you
me?
stop at the next gas station so I can go to the bathroom?
Anything, anything.
There are ways of nonviolent ways to
Right.
get yourself out of being raped and killed.
Now she's got a murder charge on her hand, you know?
Stupid. I just.
She probably wasn't
And
thinking.
and the next part she probably didn't even think about. Copas is accused of grabbing the silver and brown handgun from her purse and shooting Piedra in the back right side of the head, according to the affidavit. The vehicle crashed into roadway barriers before coming to a stop. The area where the car crashed is not in close proximity of a bridge, port of entry, or any other immediate access road to Mexico. The roadway was traveling the roadway Copas was traveling on was on a normal route to drive to the destination requested. So how would you like to be that guy who was doing what he was supposed to do and get shot in the head? No warning, no pull over the car or I'll shoot you. Just
See, to me, that's premeditated murder.
well, I don't know that she premeditated. I think it's
Oh,
called.
she had a gun in her purse.
Well, yeah, but some people carry guns everywhere.
Yes, they do. But they don't pull them on people who are unsuspecting and not doing anything.
Well,
And
because she saw the signs that said Juarez, Mexico,
She was-
not realizing, maybe the last time she took Uber, they went a different way, and this time they were going the most direct route, and she thought she was being kidnapped.
Oh,
It says
I
here he
just
was,
wanna slap her. I'm sorry.
Piedra was hospitalized for several days before his family took him off life support and told him he wouldn't recover. His status was not going to change if we did not disconnect him. It was basically going to be like a vegetative state.
Wow.
We didn't want to see him suffering. That just sucks. I mean, he does have here's a GoFundMe. He does have a GoFundMe. He got $23,000 of the $30,000. So she helped him get $23,000.
Well, to bury him,
Yeah.
I mean,
Fake his death.
Yeah, it just sucks. It sucks so bad that people are like that.
good.
I mean, I'm just shocked that there's idiots like that.
Yeah, I mean, all he was was
just
trying
out-
to give her
and
a
he is-
ride.
It
make
looks
some
like
money.
he is Hispanic,
Yeah.
but it's not like he was like. She should have talked to him at least, but she doesn't say why he refused to pull over or anything like that.
Right, you know,
she's got nothing.
When you take your gun out, you take your gun out with the intent to use it.
Yes.
And if you're going to do that, you always try to de-escalate the
Yes.
situation before you fire.
Yes.
And that's
And
one
there
thing.
was no situation, so she couldn't
exactly.
de-escalate
There
it.
was no situation. So
And you watch, it'll come up. It was by reason of mental disease or defects.
Yeah,
Well,
something like
she
that,
was
yeah.
on drugs and
you know,
or she was missing her medication, like her schizophrenia medication or something like that.
or she didn't take her diabetes medication, or she stopped taking her meds altogether just because her boyfriend dumped her. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I go?
No, she was on her way to her husband, I believe it was.
Sorry.
I don't know about her boyfriend. I just
don't
know
know.
that she was on her way to her husband.
That went right over his head. You know that it just But
Let's see what he's at now.
You caught it.
Now he's at $103,433 of the $30,000 goal.
Good for them. I hope because he
I
probably
really-
had kids.
And look, Anna Piedra is organizing this fundraiser. The poor widow.
Does he have any kids?
Sadly, he passed. That irritates me so much that someone would do that. That someone just. I mean, it just.
There are people out there though that.
Well, then you shouldn't live in society.
You're right.
Because you were so paranoid that someone. Why would they want her, of all people?
Well, it's not as much. It's not
Wow,
about
that
winning or
person
not
gave him
winning.
$1,000.
What it is about power. That's what rape is about. You know, kidnapping is about having power over someone else and to be able to do whatever they wanted over someone else. This guy was just minding his own business.
Right.
Obviously not even having a conversation with her because all this crap was made up in her own head.
Yeah.
She could have had taken her phone out instead and figured out where in the heck she was.
I know other people that have these fantasies and things that in their head that they can't resolve, and they just are crazy.
Yeah.
Insane.
And they don't, and they keep going back to the
Yes.
same trough,
Mhm.
same vomit, and they won't let it go.
I know. It's crazy, and it's
And they
not
roll-
Oh,
healthy.
I'm sorry, I can't let it go.
I bet you can't relate to that.
No, not at all.
No, but the thing is, even when you have somebody like that, and they're psycho, and you just do what you have to do to stay away from that person
Wow.
and keep yourself safe.
Look at that. There's
I
a-
haven't,
they had a vigil for him
Oh, dear
last Friday.
goodness.
That just sucks.
That is just such a shame because
But these people are out there. These people are really out there. It's so weird. And then here's someone that said, comment, use the app. It will show you exactly where you were picked up and where you were being dropped off.
Yeah.
Plus, you can add a feature that that someone will be notified what time you were picked up, route taken, and time dropped off.
they've
My
even
husband-
got. I'm sorry.
My
they've-
husband always knows where I am when I use Uber or Lyft.
And the other thing is, there's also now, I think, a panic button on there.
Yeah.
And if you
Oh, is
think
there?
something, there is supposed to be like some kind of panic button on the app itself. And obviously, she was articulate enough to order an Uber, so she should have got on there and just said, because they have that GPS stuff, they can monitor these people from everywhere. Jeez, that just, oh my gosh.
It's a shame. It's a shame that someone was that paranoid. I mean, those kind of people shouldn't be using that app.
These kind of people should be locked up and put away.
Well, I was reading something on a friend of mine's Facebook that she said that there was an accident up on Interstate 80, just a little bit below where her one friend lives, and it was the father, the mother, and a baby. The father's in the hospital, the mother died, and the baby was ejected from the car
Oh,
because the baby was not in a car seat.
jeez.
And I'm thinking, that is just awful. Because...
Did the baby die?
Yeah. It was ejected from the car.
Well, I mean, sometimes they...
And it's like, why would you have a child not in a car seat?
I mean, at least tether.
All right, here's as fuel taxes plummet, states are charging by the mile instead of by the tank. Yeah, crazy, huh? It's they get you one way or another, It doesn't matter. They'll find a way. Like when they would do in Pennsylvania the taxes on gas, and they'd say, well, you're using too much gas. We're going to have to raise the taxes up on the gas or whatever. And they'd always make an excuse why it's got to be more money, because, you figure that what's gas now? How much?
$3.59, $3.69.
So $3.59, $3.69.
$3.27 in Maryland.
Okay, so you take the $3.59, or let's say $3.60. It's $3.60 a gallon. Of that $3.60 a gallon, your actual cost without taxes is probably around $1 or something.
Yeah.
Because their taxes they're taxing the world. It's crazy.
One thing I can never understand is that the same gas is in the same ground,
well,
and then 1 hour later it's 15 cents more, and nothing changed.
And a lot of that could be the competition that's around there. Like if you go to Giant and let's say theirs is $3.59, Weiss right across the street may be at $3.49. Giant's going to lower theirs to compete with that, with Weiss, and it's like.
Well, to her question, the reason is, and it happened in distribution too, is because it happened in the company that I was in. You'll get a notification that your cost for, let's say, a VCR. Well, no, not a VCR, because nobody uses them anymore. Let's say a hard drive is $99 today, but next week it's going to be $110. So they'll adjust their price today because they need money to pay for the next inventory that's coming in.
Yeah.
So that's what that is about for the most part. However, that happens too. So that's one of the many things that have it happening. All right. Anyway, it says here, Evan Burrows has spent 8 years touting the virtues of an Oregon pilot program, charging motorists by distance their vehicle travels rather than the gas it guzzles. Yet his own mother hasn't even bought in. So Margaret Burrows, 85, says she has no intention of inserting a tracking device on her Nissan Murano to record the miles she drives to the groceries or to attend needlepoint meetings. She figures it's less a hassle to pay at the pump, as Americans have done, and plus a lot of those taxes are supposed to be for road work and stuff, all kinds of stuff.
If that's actually true, it's infrastructure.
Yeah.
And so that's the first in a city government or a city mayor, like all that stuff, that infrastructure that is supposed to go to fixing the roads never actually goes there. And then you get people that come up and they want to do buildings, they want to put new structures in around the bad roads, and they're still getting charged twice for infrastructure. Right. And that's what makes me so mad, is because they don't put the stuff where they go to, because nobody watches where the budget goes.
That's
nobody has a line-by-line budget, and the same people that audit the stuff are actually the ones that are authorized to write the checks, and that should not be true. And I probably should just shut up.
Why?
Oh.
So let me ask you this. Like, the one thing I've noticed, and this is just locally, is the Giant on Union Deposit. I think when I was there the other day, the gas was $3.69.
Okay.
But the Giant over across the river where I work is $3.59. Why the difference? Is it just because of the area?
You know, I've thought about that, because when you go to certain Royal Farms, like a Royal Farms that's right off of the expressway, is always 10 to 15 cents higher, because you're paying for the convenience.
Yes.
So that's what they're doing, and that's how they get it. Like, you go to, like, if I order groceries, because I don't go out when I'm dog sitting and things like that, I'll have things delivered to the house, and you're paying a premium on that. Then you're actually paying a delivery fee if it isn't a certain amount, and then you're paying a tip. So it's just like one thing after the other. It's terrible.
Yeah, but I would hate to drive the whole way over to work to get gas.
To use gas to come back.
Yeah.
And that's, what does it say? They twist my knickers?
I don't know.
I don't know. My knickers are twisted right now.
If I planned it right, I'd get gas before I leave work.
If you only had Snickers instead of Knickers.
No, I don't have any Snickers. Sorry.
Oh. Anyway, so this guy was talking about charging.
Tangent, didn't it?
This guy's talking about getting charged by the mile instead of, And the thing is, that would never work because there's people that would making sure that their mileage doesn't work or something. You know, they would.
Or they would just shoot whoever took the mileage and just, say they thought they were being kidnapped.
Yeah,
And it's
that's it.
ironic that I was being trained today on how to do travel expenses and
when they're doing their when they turn in their I can't remember the name of it now.
their expense reports.
But yes. And whether or not they're really actually doing a good expense report or not. Okay, never mind. I'm going to be quiet now.
It says here, Burroughs' reluctance exemplifies the myriad hurdles that the U.S. faces the experiment with the road. Now, one thing about this he does have a point here. As they experiment with road usage charging programs aimed at one day replacing motor fuel taxes, because when I get my charge at the Tesla pumps, I don't have to pay for any kind of taxes. So there is some credence to what he's saying about that, because if you have an electric car, you don't have to worry about those.
Some of us aren't that lucky.
But I mean, he does have some points about being charged for the mile because of cars like mine that aren't paying taxes on the roads.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, you pay taxes in different ways. The taxes for the roads should not come from the gas. It should come from the people that live in the area. If you have a house in said township or county or city, you're responsible for that. The people that come in and out are going to change, and whoever drives it is going to change, but they shouldn't be responsible for that per se.
Even if they drive like idiots and...
Well, most of the people that are coming in and out are coming in and out for work.
Yeah.
And what really is tearing up the roads, not saying that the buses are as bad as this, but it's all these tankers. You get a hot day and, you got to slam on the brakes, asphalt comes up with it.
Yeah.
It's just a fact of life. But if there was a different way of transporting this stuff, that might be something that should be investigated. But for crying out loud, stop making the guy that's just trying to make a living, put food on the table for his kids, pay for everybody else's crap. Oh, God, I'm never coming back, am I?
And if I'm elected president...
I got to shut up.
No, you've got some points there. However, that would be really tough.
I am on my medication, though. No.
It would be really tough to figure out how many tractor trailers come into that.
Well, the thing is,
too many.
Well, the thing is,
you don't have many on your road,
right? But
I deal with quite a few on my way to work.
Well, the thing is that tractor trailers, number one, should not be in residential neighborhoods. Period.
Correct.
But when you go to Curtis Bay, that one line down Pennington Avenue and Curtis Avenue coming back, it is like a rail.
But wait a minute. You're saying that they shouldn't be on the roads. Well, then how would you get your thing?
That's what I'm saying. There has to be
drone.
I was just going to say they could just use Amazon drones. That's not that funny. But it was good though. But the thing is, there has to be a different way of addressing over the, people need to get stuff from here to there, but there also should be a way that these people that own these trucking companies pay the bulk of the roads, because they're the ones that use the roads on a consistent
But then they'll say, then we have to raise our prices to charge you to transport this
You have
stuff.
no idea there is a very big margin in what they take you to ship and
I worked for a pasta company. I saw what they were charging, and it's like if they had to pay to fix the roads and stuff, then they would have to.
They would want to.
Well, they would increase their prices more, and then people wouldn't want to use them, and they'd be out of business. Then it's like, how do you get your
stuff
the
from
product?
here to there? Well, I did cross country.
Skiing?
No, Preston Trucking. I sold trucking services, and so we did that from point to point. But it just there's got to be.
I like what I do. I don't have to deal with trucking companies.
Well, there's a better way. There has to be a better way.
Okay.
Okay, never mind.
No, it was good. I like that. The back and forth is important. That's what this show's about. Discussions. All right, next one. This next one's kind of cool. Would you buy a lifetime pass? No, you wouldn't, because you won't do this. To go on an airline Would you buy a lifetime pass to go on an airline?
No, because that airline could probably ditch me at any point, and they
Well,
could pull the doors.
that's not really the question, but okay. This
mean,
guy
that's
here
for
bought
my-
one. He bought one for $290,000. Has flown 23 million miles and calls the purchase the best investment of his life.
Wow.
$290,000. Who has $290,000 in 1990 to spend on that? That's just amazing that he even had that kind of money.
It's almost like buying a timeshare.
Yeah, well, yeah, an expensive. That would be an expensive
timeshare.
Yeah.
But the thing is, though, how do you know that United or Southwest
Well,
or something?
if you die the next year, it's not a very good investment anyway.
Yeah, that's definitely not a good investment if you. Well,
Yeah, because, if he wanted to donate that kind of money, he could have donated to Trash Talking Radio.
Right.
I want to know if it's.
And we could have got a better mixer.
Better help.
Yeah, better help. Thank you.
Better panel. Oh, I like the guy with the. I need to kill that spider.
Oh, that was on Home
Hey,
Alone.
there's something.
I know.
Hey, there's something on your nose. What? What?
Get his legs.
What's
get
on
his
my
legs.
nose? What's on my nose? What's on my nose? I thought that was my
If
mustache.
you have a spider on you and you get hit with something, do not be surprised.
Do not be what?
Surprised.
Why would I be surprised?
Because I would smack you if you had
Oh.
a spider on you.
Well,
to
that's
save
nice
you.
to know. Then I get you for spousal. I'm not your spouse.
That's right. You know.
Anyway.
There is no ring on this. Well, there was a ring. I didn't pawn it. I sold it.
In 1990,
Yes.
Tom Stuker bought an American Airlines lifetime pass. He's flown 23 million miles. He's redeemed countless miles, and at one point didn't sleep in a bed for 12 days.
Ooh.
He told the Washington Post that the pass was the best investment of his life. He wasn't a typical frequent flyer. While many travelers fondly, what?
I just had a thought, so just go ahead and finish.
Well,
I have a thought. It comes
You told me to go ahead, and then you start talking again anyway.
I know. I'm sorry. Well, like how they used to have holiday spas, and you could sell the membership. Well, that would be one way I would buy this, if I could sell it, or if I could will it to someone in perpetuity. Because someone at Holiday Spas sold it to Bally's, and then Bally's sold their membership to LA Fitness, and I only have my $12 a year fitness membership. I only pay $12 a year for fitness. Not that I actually
I'm glad
use it.
you
but
use that.
I mean,
It's great to see that you spent all that money for nothing. When was the last time you went?
I don't know. It was before I actually lost my mind. So.
Oh, well, then that was
wait a
when
minute,
you were 12?
Wait a minute. No. Okay. If you really want me to go into the trauma answer of that, it was when I was still living with the husband over 4 years ago, because that's how I got my daily shower.
Oh.
So.
All righty.
Yeah, we won't go there. Well,
All
we're
right.
just going to let that one lie.
Anyway, Stuker is a car business consultant from New Jersey who has flown 23 million miles.
Did he embezzle that?
In 1990, the United Airlines advertised a lifetime pass for $290,000. They probably thought nobody would even take
it up on him.
290, because that's a lot of money for most people,
He had to
especially.
have been retired in order to be able to fly all over the
No, because he was a car dealership consultant.
Car dealer guy.
And-
See, so that's why I'm saying he must have embezzled that money. And
Now-
then, no? Are you sure? Maybe he
No,
killed
I-
his wife. He killed his wife and used the life insurance funds for it. He probably killed a bunch of
Used
spiders.
counterfeit money.
He probably had a lot of spiders in his family, and they all had life insurance, and he killed them all by accident and made it look like accidental death, and then they went ahead and got their money for the thing. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, you done?
Yes, I am.
You sure you're done?
No,
You sure you're done? You're going to wait till I say something. You're going to.
You're darn right that I'm going to interrupt you again. See, this is preparing you in case you ever. Never mind.
Now, 33 years later, Stuker frequently enjoys his favorite perch in seat 1B. Stuker told the Post that he spent 20 consecutive days without touching a bed, and he flew into Newark, New Jersey, to San Francisco, to Bangkok, and Dubai. He only spent time outside of the friendly skies while visiting airport lounges. Now, 69 years old,
Where did he bathe?
in a bathroom.
Oh, that's gross.
Stuker, now 69 years old, told the Post that his frequent travels were driven by an accumulation of air miles. Best investment of my life. He knew that early on the frequent flyer miles weren't just a way to get more flights. He ended up selling and trading miles with others. That's interesting.
Ooh.
Selling and trading miles? I didn't know you could do that.
Well, I just didn't realize you could just like bathe in a public
Well, I mean,
bathroom like that.
I would imagine you could probably take a
There's
whore
probably
bath.
spiders in there.
But he probably got. I mean, chances are he had places to go.
Right.
He wasn't just like living in the airport. He told
in the lounges.
he knew early. Let's see. He told Post that once he used miles to obtain so many gift cards, he was able to renovate his brother's home. United no longer extends such passes to its flyers. He even won an auction years ago, bidding 451,000 miles to be a guest on an episode of Seinfeld. Stuker told the Post that he had been to 100 countries and had more than 120 honeymoons with his wife. And United has embraced Stuker, asking for his input in crafting the menu at his Polaris clubs. And, oh yeah, you got those clubs too. And keeping the Mercedes ready on the airport tarmac if Stuker needs a quick connection.
A Mercedes?
A Mercedes. Representatives on United's 800 number even recognized Stuker. The level of service, it seems mythical, but Stuker is still reaping the benefits of his 1990s era past that has truly put the world at his fingertips.
Well, I wonder how many miles that he got from his Mile High Club.
Oh my gosh. That's probably why he didn't need to touch down
It said,
or touch a bed.
Here's some comments.
He was touching things in the air.
Here's some comments. Note that if he were to invest this money in the stock market in 1990, his investment and followed the S&P index, he would have had negative 23,000% return on his investment, or close to $7 million. Of course, this may still be insignificant amount for him and be well worth the flying experience. And then a guy says, yeah, but being able to go to Japan, Singapore, Dubai a few times a year and not having to pay airfare is pretty sweet. And sounds like that he gains a lot from first class, even on international flights. A first class ticket to Singapore costs about $4,000 or more.
Oh my
Now,
God.
do you get more miles if you sit in first class as compared to like maybe business or coach or something like that?
I can't answer that because I've never been.
Well, there should be smart people in your little chat area that know that better.
It says here, well, this guy had 7 replies. Let's see if any of them answered that. Says here, airfare is usually the least expensive part of the vacation, but he didn't take vacations. He took flights, stepped off the plane and boarded it again at the same day. Not even enough time to really experience a destination unless you're rich. You can't afford to actually enjoy your trip to the destinations. It says here, unless you're okay,
The
more
answer is
than
yes.
a few times a year, huh?
The answer is yes.
What was the question again? I forget.
If you have more points if you're in like first class than
Oh,
compared
okay.
to business.
Okay, so I mean, the guy got his money's worth for sure. So did he use $7 million of air travel? Probably not. Therefore, Father K is very valuable, a very valid point. I think personally, I think that it's supposed to be 14,000, not 4,000.
So they were saying that if he invested that money in the stock market, he would have made $7 million.
No, would have lost.
7.
Wait, wasn't it lost?
I thought
Yeah,
you
negative.
A negative 23,000% return on his investment, or close to $7 million. He would have lost $7 million if he invested. So that's how bad the stock market was.
So why are they even?
Oh, there's always people that are negative nannies.
Yeah.
So I think it's kind of cool.
Oh,
I mean,
we know some negative nannies, don't we?
Yes, we do.
Quite a few.
But I would have loved to have had the opportunity. I could have never paid for that. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
But if the guy's making money, he made money on his on his flying to those places. So I think it would be kind of cool if you have that opportunity to do that. So
Can you imagine what
Gee,
his
honey,
passport looked
let's
like?
go to dinner. Well, where do you want to go, sweetheart?
France.
Let's go to France. Okay,
Yep.
here we go.
Yeah, I was thinking that'd be kind of cool to be able to do that.
Nice.
To you don't have to worry about the fuel. You don't have to worry about it's a first class thing, man. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Because you'd make your money back pretty quick.
Well,
if
then
you're-
what? Then just buy a private jet. I mean,
Well, who wants to have the fuel and all that to worry about?
The upkeep,
you know?
the insurance, and trying to find someone
pilot,
that doesn't
yeah.
drink. Yeah, that's always good.
But you think about that. Think about the fact that this guy had first class. My first class ticket from here to L.A. was would have been probably anywhere, if you got lucky, it would be anywhere between $600 and $800 for a regular ticket. First class, we're looking at $3,000.
wow.
So when you think about it, first class, that's just a standard, but for first class, you start adding that up. That's a lot of money. This guy was flying that often. He got his money back, and he was happy about that. So I would be happy about that too if I had that kind of ticket. So I don't think it's transferable, and I doubt that they were that stupid. But anyway, so kids scream for help on a call with 911. The mom was found holding a toddler underwater.
Oh, jeez.
How these people out there today, man, I can't believe it. If I had a kid and he turned me in for holding my kid under the water, I'd be holding him under the water. I mean, no, I mean the other way around. Wait a minute, whose side am I on?
Right, you're on the kid.
The kid's side, yeah.
That is so wrong.
That's so wrong on many levels, but it's sad. It's sad that the mother would be holding the kid under the water. Children were heard screaming and begging for help when a 15-year-old girl called 911. Figures it's a girl. Of course, she couldn't handle the pressure.
Oh, really?
15-year-old girl calling the police. What kind of kid is that anyway? You should be behind your mother 100% and help her hold the kid under the water.
Well, maybe she was calling because she wanted to be the one being
Maybe that's it. Fairness to each of the kids, It says here, officers with the Department of Public Safety responded to the home at 10:30 a.m. Saturday. Ooh, early to be drowning a kid. That's
that's wrong.
And heard commotion behind the locked door of the residence. An officer kicked the door open, and police said they found a woman holding a toddler under. She probably was just washing his face.
Yeah, or his hair, when they lay them backs to the water goes
She
down
was
the back.
startled and dropped the kid, under the water.
No, the kid was screaming and he slipped.
Anyway, after the officer pulled the 2-year-old away from the 35-year-old woman and began CPR. After a few quick breaths, the child coughed up water and began breathing. But seriously, what kind of parent does that? Giving their kid a cell phone at that age?
At 15?
I mean, drowning their kid.
How do you know she didn't call from a landline?
Because people don't have landlines anymore. I mean, I do. There's one here in the studio, but,
But the thing is, she should be applauded that she turned her mother in if she was trying to drown her brother.
I was kidding.
I know that. Don't go about child abuse. That sounds like my mother. You want to go into my mother?
I might.
No, you don't really want to go into my mother.
Uh-huh.
No, she's
I
dead
wonder what
anyway.
happened that made you turn on your mother like that. No, I don't.
Oh Jesus! That you know what that was broadcasted.
Authorities said that she is the mom of 4 children found in the home: a 2-year-old, a 4-year-old boy, a 2-year-old girl, a 4-year-old boy, 8-year-old child, and a 15-year-old girl.
Now, wait a minute. They couldn't identify what sex the 8-year-old was because you've got a girl, boy, girl, child. Really?
Maybe trans. It's a trans child. Couldn't decide if it wanted to be 8 or 9.
Maybe they couldn't tell because it was a wet little child. Then they had to
The 2-year-old was found in with stab wounds in the chest and throat. What is going on in that household?
I don't know.
Oh man! And the 4-year-old had some cuts. Authorities said they may have ingested a cleaning fluid. They were taken to a hospital about 20 miles away before taken to Ann
You wouldn't say
Arbor.
Munchausen by proxy
This
because
is
obviously
amazing.
this was not. Oh, geez, a whiz.
This is amazing. Somebody needs to kill that girl. Needs to kill that
But the
woman.
two older children didn't appear hurt.
Yeah, the older children did not appear hurt. The mother, who police did not name, was arrested and later taken to the hospital, as she may have ingested the cleaning fluid as well. What the crap is going on with
Because
that
she
woman?
can disguise that into something that they ate, but I mean that's still going to erode their poor little throats.
Oh, man.
God, that's horrible.
Oh man, that's wrong. Well, that 15-year-old saved the rest of them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But now the kid's going to live in foster homes. But I guess better to live in foster home than be dead.
Well, they may have a relative that still is like on their meds that they can go with. But I mean, what do you do with people like that? I mean, you
kill them.
Yeah,
because
but
that mother wanted to kill her kids. That's wrong.
Oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't on my medication.
Yeah, that's what they'll use.
Well, at least she didn't have a damn gun and just blow their little heads off.
No, but they had knife wounds.
Knife wounds. That's crazy. This world is so messed up. I don't get it.
I mean, you have to have a license to get a car. You have to have a license to do certain things.
Yeah, but people cheat on everything.
You have to have a license to drive a car, but you can buy one without one.
I remember back in the early 2000s, Pam wanted to have a kid. She wanted, and we weren't going to have kids unless we adopted. And the procedures that they put you through are so bad that I didn't even want anything to do with it after the first time because they were so invasive. And they the people still get kids that shouldn't have them.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if you are, there's no such thing as qualified as far as I'm concerned. But they make it so difficult for hardworking people to get children, yet you can go out and have a kid and destroy the kid's life. It's just, it's easier for me to have a surrogate mother.
Yes.
Than it is for me to adopt. And I could be just crazy as anything to have a surrogate and abuse the child, but if I was an upstanding person that didn't have anything against me in the law, except for that one time when I was arrested for because I paid my fine and they didn't know it. But I mean, it's like it's impossible to be a good person and adopt.
I mean, they go down through, and we were looking at this to open a daycare, me and a friend in Maryland, and because she's bilingual and she is so good with children.
It doesn't matter if she likes guys and girls.
Bilingual.
Yeah. She's bi.
You're such a dweeb.
Hey, you cut me off how many times when I was trying to talk about the air miles?
The air miles was an important thing. But no, I mean, they went through, and it was like, you had to have, it was just ridiculous to be able to open a daycare and actually operate a business to watch other people's children who are probably already abusing them anyway.
Yeah.
It just,
Yeah,
I mean, what do you do with people?
I don't know. I was kind of glad that we didn't end up adopting anyway, because I would have been a single parent for who knows how long. So it worked out for the right reasons. But
Well, I think if you had children, they would be stabbing you and holding you under the water.
if I had children, they'd be so spoiled and they'd have everything, because I'm the kind of guy that would want to play with their toys.
Well, I mean, look
Especially if they're
at Cheyenne.
boys.
Cheyenne does have everything.
Especially if they were boys, I would have the video games for me. I'd say, sorry, Daddy wants to play DEFCON 4, so out of the way.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, I'll play your wrestling. Hey, Daddy, take it easy on me. Nope.
The poor little things would be in therapy before
Hey,
they
you
were...
got to teach them the right way. You can't just give them a win. They've got to earn that win when they're playing me. When they play each other, I don't care.
I'm going to need therapy when I leave
Unless
here.
they fight.
Like, when you leave here.
Jeez.
Therapy when you leave here. What about, well, you don't need therapy right now? Come on. Everybody does. Everybody needs it. They just don't
I'm
acknowledge
already in it, and you're just making it worse.
Yeah.
Do not do terrible things to children.
I haven't. I don't even have one.
You're thinking about it.
How well do I treat that dog?
That dog is spoiled rotten.
Yeah, so I rest my case. All right, next. Oh, this was weird. He tried to save a friend, and they charged him with murder.
Did he have a gun? Was he in an Uber?
That'll teach you. That'll teach you not to try to help anybody. You just don't help anyone because you end up getting kicked in the teeth. The minute you try to help somebody, you get kicked in the teeth.
Yep.
It's not worth it. You know, people come out of the streets and they expect you to fix everything for them. Why can't you fix it yourself? That's what I want to know. Anyway, so here's what happened. John Askins woke up in a crawl space of an abandoned house with nausea, chills, and a shooting pain in his legs. It had been 7 hours since he last smoked fentanyl. I didn't know you smoked fentanyl. I thought there were patches, like you put patches on?
There's stuff that...
There are patches, right? Fentanyl patches? Because Pam was on those.
Well, he probably rolled up the damn patch and smoked them.
I know it was fentanyl because I had one of her patches once, and that was really nasty stuff. I took that patch off really quick once I realized what it was doing to me. Ooh, I will never use them again.
Pretty colors.
Anyway, it had been,
Nothing.
Pretty what?
Pretty colors.
No, mine didn't have colors. Mine just made me loopy, and I don't want to be loopy. If I can't be in control of myself, I don't want it.
Oh, it's only bad when you pee yourself. Okay, come on.
Or sit on Diet Pepsi, you know. It had been 7 hours since he last smoked fentanyl, and already he could feel the withdrawal symptoms worsening by the minute. He rolled over in his sleeping bag and stared at the graffiti he had carved into the rotting floorboards. Fentanyl is hell, is what he wrote. And he got up starting to look for more. He walked across the street and saw his friend Chris Drake sitting on his grandmother's front porch in downtown Oklahoma City, watching the sunrise with a Budweiser in one hand and a Bible in the other. Drake, 47, was reading the book for the 6th time, and he and Askins, 42, had bonded during the past weeks over their shared faith and their shared failings. They called a rehab facility that took Medicaid and made plans to detox together with the help of medications, but their check-in was still days away. I'm hurting real bad, Askins said in the morning of late April. Do you think we can get us a little something? Drake asked him. I can always get us something. They got into Drake's car at about 5:30 a.m. and went searching for a drug that had rewired their bodies, their minds, and also so much about the United States.
They were looking for candy.
Where in 2023, fentanyl and other synthetic opioids led to an average of 3,400 emergency room visits and 190 overdoses each day. Day. Which was an obscure drug used to treat pain in and end-stage cancer patients, has become the leading cause of death of Americans under 50. And now the debate in the state capitals and courtrooms across the country is over how to stop the crisis and who to hold accountable for it. Askins and Drake had sometimes played their own version of what they call the addict's blame game during their conversation on the porch. Together they cursed the doctors who first prescribed them opioids to treat their injuries, the drug companies that knowingly flooded the market with addictive products, the cartels that manufactured and shipped millions of doses from Mexico into Oklahoma, and the street dealers who cut fentanyl into other drugs to get more people hooked, and the realities of life on American margins that kept them from going back to the dealers to dull the pain, loneliness, and disappointment again and again. They drove to a Red Roof Inn, and then to another extended stay motel near the airport, where, according to police reports, Askins met the dealer who had sold them fentanyl before. Drake took out his wallet and handed cash to Askins, and Askins paid $30 for 0.3 of a gram of a white fentanyl powder that looked like a pinch of sugar. Just a little pinch of sugar is $30.
That stuff is like so potent.
Yep.
I just can't even imagine.
I mean, you're just taking your life in your hands.
They parked at a car wash, and Drake put the white powder on a piece of tin foil, cooked it with a lighter, and inhaled the fumes, and took 2 hits, and Askins took 1. Askins passed out for a few seconds. When he opened his eyes, he saw Drake slumped over and falling out of the passenger seat. "Put your seatbelt on so you stay upright," he asked. "Hey, man, you all right?" he asked. He shook his friend and tried to slap him back into consciousness, but his body was limp and his lips were turning blue. Askins had overdosed a few times in the past, and after one of those episodes, a paramedic warned him that without medication intervention, some overdoses could become fatal within 5 minutes or less.
Wow.
Askin pulled up to a gas station and banged on the door. "Help! My friend's overdosing. Call 911. He had learned CPR while working as a medical assistant at a nursing home, so he pulled Drake out of the car, laid him on the concrete, performed chest compressions until the fire truck and 2 police officers arrived. Paramedics to work on Drake while Askins waited in the police car. An officer read him the Miranda rights and asked him about the events of that morning, none of which were under dispute in the police officer's sworn affidavit from the scene. It was Drake who first suggested they buy drugs. It was Drake who had had enough money for the fentanyl. It was Drake who wanted to get high and willingly took the first hit. Whew, boy, he's in, geez. Askins is really asking for trouble here.
Yeah.
But now the police officer told Askins that Drake had been pronounced dead in the state of Oklahoma and had reached its initial decision about who was to blame for the latest fatality in the national epidemic. Josh Askins, you're under arrest for murder in the first degree.
Yep.
That's crazy. Justin May, 31, checked his mailbox in the Oklahoma County Public Defender's Office and saw a new case, a manila folder with a red label that read Murder 1. He had been working in the office for less than 2 years, and as a self-described baby lawyer, he had already received 5 murder cases. Now he flipped through Askins' file and saw it was a fentanyl case, and then it resembled a few of his others. He had worked on a murder case against the 24-year-old who delivered fentanyl to a friend's apartment and warned everyone to be careful before his friend licked the empty fentanyl bag and died of an overdose. He had defended a woman on murder charges after she left some kind of fentanyl in her motel room where the 43-year-old companion used the drugs and died. Jeez, these things are freaking...
See, they're making other people responsible for the addict's actions.
Yeah, that's true.
When you were an addict, and yes, you have issues, and there's a whole laundry list of stuff that goes along with that. But if you are going to be in that lifestyle, then suck it up, sunshine. Nobody else needs to pay for your death.
Somebody's going to pay for it, though, the way the government's making it.
Well, you
if
know,
you're even
the
around
government
it,
is taking away our right to fix our cars and to give our friends drugs. I mean, I'm really getting offended now.
why doesn't Mr. Morley do something about it? Let's see here. All told, the public defender's case had 6 fentanyl murder cases on the past several months that were pending. I mean, I can't even imagine. I mean, the stuff that I've seen in my lifetime has been, some of the stuff has been, I mean, I haven't seen and taken it, but people I've known, that's been pretty hefty stuff. And I just can't imagine why. Okay, my brother did some pretty nasty meth and stuff, and it messed him up. And people I know of that took that meth were messed up. And that stuff is, I mean, I didn't even think about marijuana when I was a kid. I never touched anything till the past couple of years when it became legal.
The thing is that...
And then I only take that pill at night when I sleep.
You know, a lot of women are addicted to drugs because they were abused as children.
Okay.
They got into a cycle where they couldn't get out of it, and they're doing that to cope right now to be able to do what they do to numb the pain, because they are not in a program that can get them not only clean from the drugs, but clean from what was done to them that traumatized them to the point of doing this. Okay, there's guys out there that are in the same boat.
Yep.
Okay, I understand all this, and it all just gets down to the point is that if you know somebody that's going through this, and I've sat with people and I've seen people go through this. I've been with people on their first day of withdrawal. it's not pretty.
No, it's not.
But the thing is, though, you can hate the drug and how it's delivered to people, because everybody right now is notching everything up a thing, because like you said, it only takes a few grams, or it not even milligrams, and you could be dead from that.
Yeah.
So now it's like, it's just rolling the dice. You might as well just play Russian roulette, and maybe you'll walk away from the table, but you don't know what you're doing. But to make somebody in society criminally responsible for somebody else's actions, because they were a victim of somebody else's actions, where does this little circle of dog eating its tail stop? It doesn't. It just, and then Biden comes up with nobody can fix their car. Oh yeah, I feel really good right now.
I want to kind of talk about something that
is probably going to piss me off even more.
No, something that I just remembered, and you triggered that.
Oh, I'm sorry I triggered you.
It's not.
Do you want me to get you some chocolate?
Okay.
Okay. All right.
No. But back in those days, you're talking about like 70s and stuff like that. Doctors freely prescribed some of that stuff.
Oh God,
and
yes.
I was on Black Beauties when I was barely a teen, because my parents wanted me to lose weight.
Oh my God.
And that was a legal drug then. And my mother was on all kinds of things that I couldn't even tell you what they were, because it was all legal then.
Right.
And it messed her up as far as I'm concerned, and she became from a bad mother, she became a really bad mother because of that. And then she was in a depression all my teen years and before that, and because her brother died before I was born, and that sent her in a tailspin, because that was the closest person that she was ever close to.
Right.
And she was constantly like in bed saying, I'm going to kill myself, I'm going to smoke myself till I die, and stuff like that. And that's the stuff I grew up with. That's how I got such a negative attitude without even knowing I had a negative attitude. I grew up with the defeatist attitude, because that's all I ever saw.
My mother, there was a baby between me and my brother that they ended up having to abort, because there was something physically wrong with the baby that made it my mother unable to carry it to term. They excommunicated her from the church.
Oh,
she
geez.
went into this like freakazoid,
Wow.
like psycho depression. And I'm like, my thing is, this is what happens when women should have been on Prozac when they were raising their daughters. This is
That's
the product.
crazy.
This is what I have gone through. So they never really straightened her out, so to speak. And when you were talking about your mother and things like that, I had the only record player in the house. And so my mother would go up, turn on Johnny Cash, lay in bed, and just weep. I mean, and it was like, here I am at 9 years old, and I'm responsible for making sure me and my brother eat. I'm responsible for all this other stuff that goes on. And, it was just like, I couldn't get out of that house fast enough.
Oh, I believe that.
Right, baby?
I believe that.
Here's my girl.
So, anyway, says here.
Okay, let's.
All told, the defender.
We should have trauma time.
Says. So it says here, Texas Governor Greg Abbott this month signed a law to reclassify fentanyl overdoses as poisonings, and Arkansas passed a death by delivery bill in April to charge some overdoses as murders in an effort to deter anyone from selling or even sharing fentanyl. Prosecutors in Alaska, California, Florida, and at least a dozen other states were beginning to pursue new murder cases against any defendant who fit under the wide-ranging definition of fentanyl dealer. A 17-year-old in Tennessee who, after graduation, shared fentanyl in a school parking lot, with two of her friends, both of whom died. A husband in Indiana who bought fentanyl for his disabled wife, who overdosed while trying to numb her chronic pain from multiple sclerosis. A real estate agent in Florida who threw a party and called 911 when one of her guests overdosed. A high school senior in Missouri who gave a pill to a 16-year-old girl he met at church and warned her to only do a quarter and then do the other quarter if you don't feel it.
But see, the thing is, though, when we were growing, okay, let me put it this way. When I was growing up and drugs were being passed around, marijuana was being passed around,
Right.
and other things.
That was a drug of choice.
That was
then.
the drug of choice back then. Okay, so now it's escalated to these things that can actually kill you. But the thing is, oh, you're a good girl. When no one stopped me from drinking in the 6th grade, you know, I could go out and get served at 16.
Right, yeah,
You know,
I could
so
too.
we're the people that are responsible for that. It's like, what's the point with these people? You know, you can't.
Well, the thing about the 16 thing, when I was just out of college, there was a nightclub that was pretty much almost right across the street from the high school, that was the biggest club in the area. They let a 16-year-old in without carding him, and he ended up dying, and his parents sued them, and they lost their club and everything over that. And those people are still, I mean,
That I understand. That's a business, and they should have carded whoever went in there.
Right.
But the thing is, though, when you are with your friend or you are with your coworker, I'm talking about when you're prostituting or anything like that, or even just junkies in a house that's abandoned, you're all there for the same reason. You're all there because you're all in pain. And you're not going to go ahead and think, maybe I shouldn't help you out because you helped me out last week. I didn't die, but you could die. Now that they passed this law, nobody's thinking like that. You know, what they should be thinking about is that if these people died, then you need to there's a system that's effectually broken at the bottom, and they're trying to blame the wrong people instead of taking the responsibility of where it should be, is to get these people off the street and get them the help that they need instead of prosecuting them through the system, because they're actually victims of the system.
They're victims, but again, they have the ability to say no, and they did partake in the evil of that drug.
Right.
So there is some validity.
They do have some validity, but the thing is, they do somebody else should not be criminally responsible for Susie taking Bob's leftovers.
I totally agree with that, because
that's what's,
I really think that the one that I feel the most sorry about is the guy that was worried about his wife.
For pain medication.
For pain medication, I feel bad for him more than the others, because if you're doing this stuff, you got to realize there's going to be there's always going to be something that goes wrong with these things, and you have to accept that when you start doing these. You're not doing marijuana, you're doing heavy drugs that you shouldn't be doing.
Right.
Absolutely heavy drugs.
It goes along the same lines as they want to take our magazines and our automatic weapons away. People have choice, and if you are going to choose to do this, then you accept the responsibility of dying yourself.
Yes.
I am not going to make somebody else responsible for my fact that I want to go out and lick an envelope and have LSD and look at the pretty colors and then have a cardiac arrest, vomit on your floor in your house.
How do you? No, not in my house.
I know.
But how do you determine whether or not that person killed that person by accident?
It shouldn't make any difference.
Or if that guy, I hate this person, I'm going to give him this med or this drug to kill him, and I'm going to deny that I didn't know I didn't know what was going on. How do you know that's not what happened?
Well, the thing is, though, if somebody, that's where investigative work comes in. As far as I'm concerned, you're guilty. I mean, you're not guilty. You're innocent until proven guilty. These people automatically assume harmful intent. It's just like the guy that got shot, who was in the car.
There's no doubt about that one.
There's no doubt about that. But the thing is, though, the guy that gave the other guy fentanyl when he was in his front seat, and they're both sharing the last hit before they had plans to go into rehab. They share one last hit, and the guy overdoses. That other guy shouldn't be held responsible for that. They both did it. They both knew the risk, and the one guy just slipped up, and there you go.
Okay, now here's something that it says. But as my studied Askins' file. He saw that Oklahoma City police officers in that case hadn't tracked the fatal dose of fentanyl back to the cartel manufacturer or the drug trafficker or a big-time dealer or even to the street level. This is what you're talking about.
Yep.
Known as Suge or Suge or whatever, S-U-G-E, Sug, who had sold the fentanyl to Askins and Drake, and whose name Askins had given to the police at the scene. Instead, they arrested and charged only one person, Askins, who had committed a crime, who had a criminal record of nonviolent drug offenses. His file showed that he had depression, anxiety, post-traumatic stress disorder from being raped by a neighbor when he was 9. His current address is listed as transient, and he had told officers that he supported his own addiction by reselling food he had found in dumpsters and donating plasma twice a week.
So, okay, right, if I go to a dumpster and I give you and I get a sandwich and it causes you to have botulism and die, then I'm going to be responsible for your death. That's exactly what they're saying.
Okay.
Which
Should
is
be.
pretty fucking stupid.
So it says Mai left the private practice and took a 40% pay cut to become a public defender in his home state because he wanted to work cases like this. He imagined himself fighting for the underdog, standing and delivering in front of a jury like his idol, Clarence Darrow, whose trial victories helped advance the civil rights movement. But the realities of Mai's job meant managing 80 to 90 cases at once. Small-time copper thieves, drug deals, and domestic disputes that typically ended with his clients cutting deals and pleading guilty to lesser charges. In almost 2 years as a public defender, Mai had never once taken his case to trial. This is where we're fighting. We're going to fight. He told Askins when they met one morning in county jail, Askins had a bond hearing coming up, and my plan to ask the judge to reduce his bond from $50,000 to $50,000 from $250,000, so Askins could possibly get out of jail while his case continued through the courts. They should be treating this more as a misdemeanor drug case. It was a traumatic situation, and you acted how I wish I would act if I was in that position. My mind was spinning. See, this guy, Askins never really imagined his friend dying in the seat next to him.
Mm-hmm.
And somehow you drove past the gas station, you called for help, you gave CPR, you stayed at the scene and tried to save your friend. Murder, Askins said, trying to make some sense of it. He had met an inmate in jail who admitted to shooting a former roommate and dismembering parts of his body, and had pleaded down a sentence to manslaughter and 10 years in prison. If I'm found guilty, I could be looking at life in prison without parole.
Yep.
Just for helping his friend. Technically, Mai said, but who's going to support that? So, yeah, it's crazy. Wanda Harris, 88, lit a cigarette and walked into the living room where she saw her grandson in the morning he died, and where he left his belongings untouched in the weeks. His mattress was still on the floor outside her bedroom, where he sometimes slept so he could monitor her coughing fits at night. His half-empty beer bottles sat on the kitchen table, and his poster of the 10 Commandments hung on the wall. His friends from nearby abandoned houses were still coming over at hours so they could use the bathroom, charge their cell phones, and check on his grandmother. You're doing all right today, one of them asked. Harris put out her cigarette in an empty cereal bowl and lit another. I must still be in shock, she said. My brain just can't make sense of what happened. She raised Drake and lived with him for most of his life. For the past 2 years had been the hardest. Drake's mother died of cancer, and she sank into a clinical depression and quit his trucking job. He was lonely and bored, and so he started befriending some of the people who lived in the abandoned houses around the corner. Harris saw him drinking the beers together and smoking from pipes on her porch, and she tried going outside to talk to them about the Bible. She watched a story on TV about the rise of fentanyl and begged Drake to get help. It seemed to her as if he were giving up, and 2 police officers were knocking on her door to deliver the news that she had received before. Her husband was shot and killed during a robbery when she was 26 years old, and for the next few years she was so blinded by anger that she didn't feel safe driving a car. Her oldest daughter died of cancer, and for a while Harris blamed God and stopped going to church. Her son was hit on the head with a piece of equipment that fell on the oil rig where he worked, and Harris tried to sue the oil company and the doctors who failed to save him during surgery. None of it went anywhere. None of it helped to alleviate her grief until eventually she resigned herself to the philosophy that she repeated to everyone who asked about the circumstances about Drake's death. Unless Askins tricked her grandson into taking fentanyl or forced the drugs into his body, it didn't seem like an intentional act of murder. It is what it is, she said. No amount of finger pointing is going to change that. The front door swung open again. It was another one of Drake's friends. He plugged his phone into the wall, grabbed a bottle of water from the fridge. "I'm sorry about Chris," he said. "The whole situation makes me angry. I've tried that," she said. "It doesn't take the pain away." Wow. "What does?" She lit a cigarette and thought for a moment. "Nothing." A few days later, 2 prison guards led Askins into the courtroom for his bond hearing on the charge that he murdered Drake. Askins had red welts on his neck from the bed bugs that infested the county jail. He scratched on his skin and his handcuffs as he scanned the gallery for his family. He spotted his mother, Sean Armstrong, who had recently tried to hang herself in the backyard because of her heartbreak over the latest saga of her son's 25 years of addiction, and his stepfather, who helped cut down the rope, and his 92-year-old grandmother, who slept on the same bed as his mother for the past 3 weeks, rubbing his mother's arm until she fell asleep. "I'm so sorry for putting you through this," Askins told them. He wiped his eyes and turned back to the front of the room as his lawyer, stood to address the judge. "This is a very unusual first-degree murder case. We have the unfortunate and sad accidental overdose that we should put him, but we shouldn't put that accident on my client. Even accusing him of murder causes real harm. Stigmatizing drug addicts, punishing them, punishing people who call 911. It's clear that my client is not a drug dealer. He was a middleman. A middleman is a drug dealer," the prosecutor said. "They buy drugs from someone and then distribute them. This person's drug problem has directly led to the death in our county. More recently, the question of who should be held accountable, that's the big question, who should be held accountable, has led to the debate for the offices of the prosecutor's boss." But anyway, I just feel real bad. They kept the bond at $250,000, and he said, "Thank you, Your Honor." He said, "Can I please hug my family?" "I'm sorry, I believe there's a rule against that," the judge said. She gestured for the guards to take Askins back to his cell, and Askins called for his mother from the prison. She answered as she drove out of the city. So it's just that they are punishing the wrong people.
Yeah.
And in this case, the right people are not being attacked. So.
But depending on how you look at it, they may say it was his fault for buying the drugs and all that. They may say some may say it's the drug dealer's fault for selling it, but they didn't know.
Well, it's everybody's fault, but it's a degree of whose fault.
Yeah.
The guy should have said, "No, I won't do that," and he didn't, because he was an addict too.
Yep. Wow.
Anyway, I'll leave on that up note.
Yeah, real up note.
Yeah, it's sad. I just, I don't know. I just really feel bad about that because the wrong people are being, Oh, we never even got to I guess we'll save that for next week. Oh, I'll end on a good one. How about a good one?
2 weeks.
Please, anything.
Okay. All right.
I'm going to have nightmares anyway.
I got two that are good ones that I'll end on.
Okay.
First one is a good one for me.
Everything's good for you.
Tesla charging stations are put on a fast track to become the U.S. standard.
Oh yeah, you.
Oh, it's kind of cool because everybody has their own connector. Okay, Tesla has the most charging station. They have 60,000 charging stations. Everybody else has like 1,000 or a couple.
3.
You know, they've got 60 times the next one. Anyway, they're Aptera is one that adopted it. GM is adopting it now. So everybody's
since Ford and Chevy recalled all of their electrical vehicles for blowing up and catching fire.
Yeah, that too. So Tesla electric charging has become put on a fast track to be the North American standard. Tesla's charging has been gathering momentum for weeks. Volvo Tuesday joined the group. I think I said this last week about General Motors, and Rivian is embracing it. So those are all the guys that are important in this whole thing. The SAC standard is basically that's the best news, because all these stupid adapters you got to have for everybody else. Mm-hmm. It's nice that one place, and what they're going to do is I'll pay less because I own a Tesla.
Right.
But they'll pay more, but they'll still get a good deal, but they will have to pay more. So the reason to buy a Tesla is more important than ever. That's one of the things that I found was really good, because obviously I have a vested interest in that because I own Tesla stock, for one, and the Tesla stock's been climbing again, fortunately. Yay! So I'm back in the good numbers instead of the bad numbers, which it's been. I wanted to buy more when it was really bad because I knew it was going to go back up. But this is a stock you're not going to lose money on, because there's too many people invested in the number one company out there. And the other story that I thought was really cool and really interesting is one about, have you ever heard of Ozempic?
Yes.
Okay. That is really interesting that you should know what Ozempic is good for. But tell me what Ozempic is for.
Diabetes.
That's right. But you know what else it's good for?
What?
Weight loss. Mm-hmm. Did you know that?
Yeah, I think I heard that somewhere.
Well, I'm going to tell you, if you didn't know that, this is the important part. There's another drug that is exactly the same as Ozempic. Exactly the same. It's even made by the same company with another name. And it says here, type 2 diabetes drug Ozempic has got a lot of buzz lately. By the way, you get they call it Ozempic butt, and that's what Ozempic butt looks like, I guess. I don't understand its peaches, but anyway, it says if you use, it says people on TikTok say that using Ozempic has left them with saggy butts.
Because they've lost so much weight.
Because they've lost so much weight. Now, here's the thing that's interesting about this. Where is the name of the other thing? There's another drug that's exactly the same drug with a different name, and it's where is it? Where is it? Wait, I'm trying to find it. Where'd it go?
All I can say is Ozempic.
Oh, is that what that is? Okay, I've heard that before. Okay.
Yeah, I've heard it way too many times.
Well, it says here Ozempic, which is an injectable medicine, works by mimicking the protein in your body called glucagon-like peptide, GLP-1. It explains that you take the medication and it rejects receptors and increases insulin. The reason I'm getting into this is there was a guy that called into Howard Stern, one of his regular listeners, who called in and said he lost 80 pounds. And the guy said, well, how did you lose 80 pounds? He said, Ozempic. Apparently, this is a weight loss drug as well. And I need to figure out where I saw the name of the weight loss drug. The weight loss drug is exactly the same thing. Okay, that's the end of the article, so it's got to be up further. Okay, where is it at? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where are you?
Where are you tonight?
Oh, here it is.
Why have you laid me here all alone? Searched the world over and I thought I found true love.
Okay.
And you med? No, they're in.
It's worth pointing out that Ozempic is often used by doctors for weight loss. It's not just like Wegovy. It's the exact same drug, the exact same thing, just a different brand name. Wegovy. Wegovy.
Wow.
It's the same drug, the same thing, just a different brand name. It's an obesity medicine. Physicians and clinical researchers at Massachusetts General Hospital said that. So if you find out that you can get that, that's what you want to get. Or get Ozempic, and it supposedly will help you lose weight.
Can you get Ozempic and sprinkle fentanyl in
People-
it and make it go faster?
Well, I don't know about that. It does say that people are buying Ozempic illegally so that they can lose weight. So it's really interesting. Did you know that? You did know that Ozempic and Wegovy or whatever. And have you been losing weight since you...
I don't use it, but
Oh,
I
you-
know somebody who does.
I'm
I
exhausted
don't know
for
who you're
almost-
talking-
Yes, you do.
Just
Am I talking to that person?
you block
Not
that
now.
person.
This is the person I just recently stopped talking to?
Yes! Boy, what is
Well, how
that?
does
Does
that person die?
747 have to land
Oh,
on you?
he has diabetes. Is that why he's losing tons of weight?
That could be because he's just not eating.
Okay. Well, it blocks your receptors in your head, so you don't want to eat. So it could be. I
Yeah.
mean, that makes sense. How does he get it?
Through his doctor.
So he does get it legally.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I would like to get it myself, just because I'd like to lose some more weight. Although I'm still losing. What are you looking at me like that for?
I'm just looking.
I have to go get some lab work done at some point.
Well, I would tell you if you
And
can get that.
I'm going to ask my doctor about it.
You should, and explain why you want it, because apparently it's, or the other one is, like I said, Wegovy, Wegovy. I don't know how to pronounce it, but that's interesting stuff, and I never knew any of that. Oh, hey, Darrell. I am doing great, and we're wrapping the show up right now, so you can look at the playback. We've had some fun today. And,
Oh, yeah, we've had some chatter. Last time I'm going to be... Well, I won't be here next week, so everybody can have a normal show.
Oh, neither of us.
None of us will be.
Oh, well, then that's right, because I have to... Oh, well, then that's good. I get to be on the following week.
Yeah.
But see, if I have to... Well,
You need to reschedule and have your priorities.
I'll have to talk to my therapist about that.
Your therapist is going to say, stay away from that show. It's not good for you.
You don't deserve this kind of therapy. Back off. Stop having an opinion.
You were on the Zoom. I wish I would have been on the Zoom because I would have liked to have talked to who was on the Zoom tonight. So tonight
Who's
they
on the
had,
Zoom?
on the Zoom, they had the Public Enemy guy that is the music producer now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I
Are
would-
you talking about your
VIP.
VIP people?
Yeah. They had him on, and I'm going to get to meet him when I go down to Miami. So, all right. Well, it's time to wrap up. And
Yeah, Cheyenne's down to the chewing of the bones
Yeah.
that were left on the floor from last week.
well, I've got a lot of bones that she
I
left.
swear it looks like a freaking graveyard in here.
Yeah, well, she's a busy girl. All right. Anyway, I thank you for listening in. And we will be, yes, have a good talk and we'll
Stay away
talk
from
to you.
fentanyl.
Yeah, don't go with fentanyl, people. Okay. I will talk to you guys next in 2 weeks. So have a good one. Yeah, don't touch me.